Welcome to SmartTutorSA Online Tutoring. In this video, we are going to look at Mathematics Term 1 for Grade 12. We will do algebra, sequence and series, functions, and trigonometry. Together, we will solve the exam questions to strengthen our understanding. Join our online classes to improve your results in mathematics and physical science. Contact 0791 444 266. Smart Tutor SA. Learn smart.
Here we're going to start from question 1 up to the last question, right? So let's start with our first question. So the first question here, they are asking us to solve for x, right? So the first question, they say correct to 2 decimal place. Guys, when they say correct to 2 decimal place, there's this thing that you should know. You should know that if they say correct to 2 decimal place, it means that you are going to use a quadratic equation, right? So the first question is what? This is 1.1.1. So 1.1.1, they've given us 7x squared minus 2x minus 3 equals to 0. So this one here, it is already in standard form, so we use our quadratic equation. So it's going to be x equals to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So after that, it's going to be x equals to, now let me remove the prediction here, x equals to, our b is this one, our c is this one, and our a is this one, right? So our b is negative 2, so it's going to be negative into negative 2 plus or minus the square root of negative 2 squared minus 4, and then our a is 7, and then our c is negative 3, and then all over 2, and then our a is 7, right? So after that, it's going to be what? This is going to be 4 plus or minus the square root of what? You can check that into the calculator. It's going to be what? It's going to be 4, and then, okay, let me check into the calculator quickly. The answer for this one is going to be what? Remember, you must calculate your discriminant first before you can conclude, right? So it's going to be 2 squared, negative 2 squared minus 4, and then by 7 by what? Okay, negative 4, negative minus 4, and then by 7 by negative 3, right? So the answer is going to be 88, right? So the answer here is going to be 88. So over 14, right? Over 14. So it means that those are our two x's. So the x is going to be what? Let's check. It's going to be 4 plus, yes, it's a 4 plus what? Plus the square root of what? Plus the square root of 88, and then over 14, right? So this is 0.95. So I've got x equals to 0.95, or when I use a subtraction here, what do I have? When I use a subtraction, I've got is 4 minus this one, so it's going to be negative 0.38. Negative 0.38, or x is equals to negative 0.38. So that is our solution, right? This one was straightforward. There's nothing much to say other than the marking allocations, right? So guys, make sure that you mark your work and send the marked work, right? So you give a mark there for substitution into the quadratic equation, and then the 1 mark for the correct answer and 1 mark for the correct answer. If you didn't write it round it off correctly, there is no mark there, right? So that is the first 3 marks, and then go to the second one there. So the second one is not in standard form, so I'm just going to write it in standard form. So to write it in standard form, I'm going to expand that one. So x minus 2 squared is going to be x squared minus 4x plus 4, and then minus 4, and then equals to 0, right, equals to 0. So it means that's going to be what? It's going to be x squared minus 4x equals to 0. So I can take out my common factor, which is x, and then I'll be left with x minus 4, and then equals to 0. So my x is going to be 4, or my x is going to be 0, right? So there we are. Those are our solutions, right? Those are our solutions. And then the marking allocation for this one again is 3 marks. 1 mark for factorization, and then 1 mark each for final answer, right? Or it can also give you 1 mark for standard form here. If you have a correct standard form there, you can also give your correct yourself a mark there. But the total should be 3 marks, right? The total should be 3 marks. And then this one here, you could have done it in the second option. This is option number 1. So the option number 2, you could have done it like this. The option number 2, because it was x minus 2 squared minus 4 equals to 0. So because you can see that the square is completed, you could have taken 4 to the other side. So it's x minus 2 squared equals to 4. Right, then you introduce the square root, then this side is going to be plus or minus, right? So this one is going to be x minus 2 is going to be, that one square root of 4 is 2, so it's going to be plus or minus 2. And then when you take this other 2 to the other side, it's going to be x equals to, this 2 is going to be positive 2 plus or minus 2. So the answer is going to be x equals to 2 plus 2, or x equals to 2 minus 2. So this one also to give us x is 4, or x is 0. So those are the two options you could have solved this one. So that is also correct, right? So let's quickly go to the next one. The next one is the inequality questions. I'm sure if you are attending our classes, I'm sure you understand how to solve the inequality, right? I'm sure you understand how to solve inequality using a number line, right? So first of all, you do it like as if you are solving for x. So we're going to start by factorizing, right? So it's going to be what? Okay, sorry, we're going to 1.3. 1.3 is not the it's not the completing of it's not the set inequality is a set equation, right? So when you've got a set equation like this one, guys, the first thing that you do is to write your things in a isolate your square root, right? Isolate your set. So it's going to be square root of 7x minus 2 equals to, we take 2x to the other side, negative 2x, right? And then we square both sides, so it's going to be 7x minus 2 equals to 4x squared. Then we take the 7x to the other side, so it's going to be 4x squared minus 7x plus 2 equals 0, right? So if I am to factorize this one, how am I going to factorize it? So if I have this one and this one, I'll get an 8, and then a 1, I'll get a 1, right? Yes, so I'm going to have 4x here, and then the other side I'm going to have an x, so this one going to be a 2 to give me an 8, and then it won't work, right? It won't work. Why am I saying it won't work? Because it has to, it must have the same sign, right? So this 2 here was a plus, so I made a mistake here. I'm sorry for that, right? So this one is a minus. Yes, now it will work, right? Now it will work. You see, sometimes you see your mistakes by checking your things, right? Because it was a plus, when it goes to the other side, it became a negative, right? When it goes to this side, it became a negative, right? So it means that it is minus 2 and then a plus 1 there, right? Equals to 0. Then our x is negative 1 over 4, or our x is 2. So the marks there is for what? They've given us 4 marks. So, okay, remember the set equation, we have to go back and check our things, right? We have to go back and check our things. If I substitute a 2 here, if I substitute 2 here, it's going to be what? It's going to be square root of x plus 2, right? Square root of 7 multiplied by 2 is going to be 14 by 2 plus 2 is going to be 16. So square root of 16 is 4, and then plus 2 into 2 is going to be 4. So 4 and 4 will not give us a 0, so it means that this one here, you will need to crush it there, right? And then what if we put a negative half? If I put a negative half here, it's going to be what? If I put a negative quarter here, this one is going to be 1 over 2, right? And then if I put a negative quarter here, what am I going to get? I cannot get a negative, so this one will always be a positive. So in this case, I cancel both answers. Remember, they must be shown, they must be there, and then with the cancellation, right? So I'm going to get 1 mark for both answers and 1 mark for cancelling both of them, right? And then after that, I'm going to get another mark for writing my things in standard form, and then another mark for squaring both sides, right? So it means that I've got total of 4 marks, right? So in this case, we don't have any solution that will work there. So that is our solution, right? Those are our solutions, but they must be crushed, all of them. If you leave them without crushing them, you lose 1 mark for selection, right? Usually you find one answer correct, one incorrect, right? But in this case, both of them are incorrect, right? So now let's go to 1.4, which is our 1.4, which is our what? 1.4, which is our 1.1.4, which is our inequality. So with inequality, I've got x squared minus x minus 56 less than 0, right? So this one is going to be what? This one is going to be 7 and 8. Yes, 7 and 8. So it's going to be x minus 7 into x minus plus 8, right? Okay, it's going to be plus 7 and then minus 8, right? Less than 0, right? So our critical values are what? We find our critical values, which are going to be negative 7 and positive 8, right? Because 8 and 8 is going to be 49. Yes, it's correct. It's 56, right? So those are our critical values. So after that, I draw a number line here. And then after drawing a number line, I can write my negative 7 here. And then I can write my 8 there, right? I know that with a number line, guys, if I had a positive here, the number line will always be positive this side and the negative in between and positive. And then positive is greater than 0, and then the inequality was saying less than 0. Less than 0 is a negative, so it's in between here. So it's going to be negative 7 less than x, which is less than 8. So that is our solution. We are done with that one also, right? So let's quickly run to the second one, to the next one. The next one is this one here. I've got 2 to the power of 2x. Okay, these questions here, I've put them next to each other because learners mix them, right? Don't understand what to do on which one, all right? So you can see here, I've got x to the 2 to the power of 2x plus 1, and then 2 to the power of x plus 2, and then 2 to the power of x there, right? So what you should understand about this kind of question, guys, you should understand that this is 2x here, and this is x, and this is x, and then 2x is exponent, which is 2 times bigger than that one. So it means that this one we're going to use a k method, and it's a quadratic, right? And then if you look at the second one here, I've got x and I've got x. So that one is not a quadratic, it's a simple exponential equation, right? So the first one, 1.1.5, is a quadratic, so I'm going to use the k method to avoid making a mistake. But first of all, I'm going to expand my exponents there, right? So the first one is 2 to the power of 2x multiplied by 2 to the power of 1, right? And then minus 2 to the power of x multiplied by 2 to the power of 2, right? And then I take everything to the left because I see my quadratic, minus 2 to the x minus 12 equals 0, right? So this one is 2 multiplied by 2 to the power of 2x, and then minus 4 2 to the power of x minus 2 to the power of x minus 12 equals 0. So I can see that here I've got the same things subtracting each other, so it's going to be negative 5, right? So it's going to be 2 multiplied by 2 to the power of 2x, and then minus 5 multiplied by 2 to the power of x minus 12 equals 0, right? So after that, this one here, I'm going to write it in the form that will be like this, like that one, right? So it's going to be 2 dot 2 to the power of x and then squared, right? And then minus 5 dot 2 to the x minus 12 equals 0, right? So after that, I can see that, okay, I can let this one to be k, then I will have an easy quadratic equation, right? So I will let 2 to the x be k. Therefore, when I substitute my k, what am I going to have? I'm going to have 2k squared minus 5k minus 12 equals 0, right? So if I am to factorize, this one is going to be 2k, and there's going to be k there, and then this one here, if I have 3 and 4, if I have 3, is going to give me 6, and then 4, it won't work. So if I have 4, it's going to give me 8, and then if I have 3, it will work, right? So it's going to be 4 here and 3 there, and then the minus here and the plus there equals to 0, right? So it means that our k will be negative 3 over 2, or our k will be 4, right? So that is our k, and then I know that k is what? K is 2 to the x, right? So it means that I'm going to have 2 to the x equals to negative 3 over 2, or 2 to the x equals to 4, right? Let me use therefore also here, right? But I cannot have a base of 2 that gives me a negative, so this one I'm just gonna leave it. So I'm gonna come here and solve my x. 2 to the power of x equals to 2 to the 2. Therefore my x is going to be 2, same base, same exponent. So there is our solution. Our answer is x is 2, right? So that is our question, right? We are done with this one. That is how we were supposed to do this one. So a lot of you were complaining that it was difficult. I didn't give you mark allocation from 1.4. Let's talk about the mark allocation from 1.4. 1.4, it had how many? It had 3 marks, right? So the marks here, you get 2 marks, right? And then 1 mark for critical values, right? So that is our 4 marks. So for this one here, it is what? It is 5 marks, right? 5 marks. This one here is an answer. This one is should be another mark there, and then standard form should be another mark there, and then simplification should be another mark there, all right? And then because it's 5, it means that they've also given us a mark for what? A mark for this one here, factorization, right? So those are the marks that you should accumulate there, right? Those are the marks that you can accumulate there. So make sure that you mark your work and submit my my marked work, so that I can give a feedback to our parents, right? Remember, whether we did good or bad, we must give our feedback to our parents, so that they see that we are doing something, right? So 1.1.6, if we go to 1.1.6, 1.1.6, I see that I don't have an exponent which is 2 times bigger than other, so I'm just going to expand my things, right? So this one is going to be what? This is going to be 2 to the power of 2 by 2 to the negative x, right? And then minus this 0.75 is the same as 3 over 4. It's 3 over 4, right? And then I've got this one, which is minus. I can take it to the other side. It's going to be minus 2 to the power of negative x, and then equals to 0, right? So I'm just going to take this one to the other side. So it's 4 x to the 2 to the negative x, 2 to the negative x minus 2 to the negative x equals to 3 over 4, right? So this one here, I can just factor out 2 to the negative x. So 2 to the negative x is going to be 4 minus 1, which is going to be 3 over 4, right? So it means that I've got 2 to the negative x into 3, right, equals to 3 over 4. So both sides I can divide by 3. Then here I divide by 3. I put this into the brackets to avoid making a mistake when I punch into the calculator. 2 to the negative x will be, when I punch that into the calculator, it is giving us 4, right? So it means that 2 to the negative x equals to 2 to the 2. So exponent by exponent, negative x equals to 2. So x is going to be negative 2. So there we are. That is our solution, right? That is our solution. That is our x. Our x is negative 2 on question 1.1.6, right? Let's rush to the next question. Let's rush to the next question. The next question is solve for x and y simultaneously. So we talked about this one here. This is my equation 1. 2x plus y equals to 1. And then this is my equation 1. And then the equation 2 is what? Is 2x squared minus xy plus y squared equals 4. And then this is my equation 2, right? So I can see that it's not easy to make x or y subject of the formula, and here I can make y subject of the formula easily without any fractions, right? Avoid making fractions, because I've seen learners coming from equation 1, saying from equation 1, and then they come and say 2x equals to 1 minus y, and then they divide by 2, and then they say x equals to 1 minus y over 2. This is going to make a nasty equation, right? It's going to make a nasty equation. There's going to be so many things there to deal with. So avoid that by doing this one, by taking the one that is much easier to work with, right? So to make y subject of the formula, it will make our life very easy, right? From equation 1, I can say y equals to 1 minus 2x, right? So I can say this is my equation 3, and then because it is coming from equation 1, I cannot substitute to equation 1. I can only substitute it to equation 2, right? So I'm going to sub equation 3 in equation 2, right? So it means that in equation 2 is going to be 2x squared minus x into 1 minus 2x, and then plus our y is what? Our y is 1 minus 2x squared equals to 4. All right, now we can solve for our x there. Right, now we can easily solve for x. So it means that's going to be 2x squared minus x plus 2x squared, and then plus this one's going to be 1 plus 4x plus 4x squared. So this one is not a plus, it was supposed to be a minus, right? Then minus 4 equals to 0. Hope I didn't make any mistake. Yes, I believe I didn't. So I'm going to have 8x squared, and then the x is this one and this one, so it's going to be minus 5x. Oh, it's starting to be nasty. That makes me feel like I've made a mistake. Minus 3 equals to 0. All right, so this one here is going to be what? It's going to be can be 4x and 2x. This one is very nasty. It looks like I've made a mistake there. It looks like I've made a mistake there. Okay, hopefully, or let's hope that I didn't, right? So this one, I cannot easily conclude that. What I can conclude is 1 and 3. So that is the only thing I can conclude, right? The other is going to be minus, the other is going to be a plus. So if I put an 8 there, 8x here, I've got a minus 8 and then a plus. Yes, it's going to be like this, right? So there we are. Is it fine? Yes, I've got a negative 8 and then a positive 3. Yes, this will be fine. So our x is negative 3 over 8, or our x is 1. So to find y, I know that y is equals to 1 minus 2x, right? There where my y is already subject of the formula, right? Y is equals to 1 minus 2 into negative 3 over 8. And then the answer is going to be 1 minus 1 plus 3 over 4, right? So this is going to be 7 over 4. So it means that the coordinates can be written as negative 3 over 8 is to 7 over 4, right? That is the first answer. So for the other one where y is equals to 1 minus 2 into 1, so the answer is going to be negative 1, right? So this one will be written as 1 is to negative 1, right? So there we are. That is our simultaneous equation simplified, right? That is our equation, quadratic equation simplified. So we can go to 1.1, 1.3. 1.3, what are they looking for? 1.3, they are saying if 5 to the power of 2006, 5 to the power of 2006, and then minus 5 to the power of 2004, 5 to the power of 2004, and then plus 24 over 5 to the power of 2004 plus 1 is equals to a. Calculate without the use of calculator the value of a. So we need to simplify this, right? That is our a, right? So here, what can we do? I can see that I've got 5 to the power of 2004 here, and then on top here, I've got 5 to the power of 2004. So I'm going to simplify to take out 5 to the power of 2004 on top there. On the bottom, I can't take it out. So remember, as I told you, every time you come across questions like this, factor out the smallest exponent. So the smallest exponent is 5 to the power of 2004. So I'm going to take it out here and there, right? So it means that this one here is the same as 5 to the power of 2004 plus 2, right? This one is the same as that. So when I take out 5 to the power of 2004, I'll be left with plus 2 there, right? So it means that I'm going to have 5 to the power of 2004 into 5 to the power of 2 minus 5. If I take out 5 to the power of 2004 on 5 to the power of 2004 is going to be 1, right? So I have my 1 here, and then plus 24, and then all over 5 to the power of 2004 plus what? Plus 1. All right. So what do I have here? 5 squared minus 1 is going to be 24, right? So I've got 5 to the power of 2004 and then into 24, right? Plus 24 all over 5 to the power of 2004 plus 1. So I can take out 24 here because I've got 24. I've got 24. It's a binomial, right? So I'm going to factor out 24 on the right hand on the numerator, right? If I factor out 24, what do I have? If I factor out 24, what do I have? I'm going to have 24 into 5 to the power of 2004, and then there I'll be left with 1. With 1, right? And then over 5 to the power of 2004 plus 1, right? So this one and this one is the same thing, so the answer is going to be 24. So A is equals to 24, right? A is equals to 24. That is our answer. Our A is equals to 24. We are done with this one there, right? We are done with that one. So now we can move to the next question, right? The next question is the nature of roots. Nature of roots. So they are saying for which values of m will for which values of m will 2x squared minus 3x plus 3 equals to mx plus m have 2 real roots. For real roots, we know that we need to simplify, right? For real roots, we need to simplify, right? For real roots, we need to have delta which is greater than 0, right? Delta must be greater or equal to 0. Real roots greater or equal to 0, right? So I must rearrange this to be 2x squared minus 3x minus mx, and then plus what? Plus 3 minus m equals 0, right? So it means that here I can write this one as 2x squared plus into negative 3 minus m and then x there, right? And then plus 3 minus m equals 0. So this is our B, this is our C, this is our A, right? So our delta must be greater or equals to 0, right? Must be greater or equals to 0. So it means that's going to be B squared minus 4AC greater or equal to 0. So what is our B? Our B is negative 3 minus m squared and then minus 4, and then A is 2, and then C is 3 minus m, and then greater or equals to 0. So it means that's going to be m squared plus 6m. I'm sure you can also simplify there, plus 9, and then minus, this is 8. 8 minus 8, 16, 24, minus 24 plus 8m greater or equals to 0. So it means that's going to be m squared plus 14, right? Plus 14 m and then minus 15 equals 0, right? So if I am to factorize this one is m plus 15, then m minus 1 greater or equals to 0, right? Sorry, greater or equals to 0. And then after this one, now we can talk about the inequality, right? Greater than 0. So the critical values CV, critical values are 15, negative 15, and positive 1. So negative 15 will be here, and then 1 will be there, positive, negative, positive. So they're saying greater or equal to 0, so it's this side and this side, right? So our x is less or equals to negative 15, or our x is greater or equals to 1. So they are our answers, right? There are our answers. So that is our answer for this one, nature of roots, right? Nature of roots, we must not forget that if you have got a quadratic, our delta should be greater or equals to 0, right? So let's jump into question 2. Where is question 2? Here is question 2. Is our sequence and series, right? It's our sequence and series. So I hope we are all marking, and then I am going to get a marked script so that I can record them and submit our monthly report, right? And submit our monthly report, and then see where you're struggling, right? Remember, but I've seen where you're struggling because I've seen your script, but I need you to mark also so that we can record the total mark, okay? So they're saying triangles are arranged in a pattern as shown below. So there they are. We've got pattern 1, 2, and 3. So they are saying number of triangles in pattern 1, we've got 3. We don't have 3. In pattern 1, we don't have 3. What do they mean? Okay, this is our 3 then. And then in pattern 2, you see we've got 6. Okay. Okay, it makes sense now. It makes sense now. So it means that the 6 is here, and then the 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I've got the 10 there. So, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15. So here we had a 6. Here we had a 10. And then here we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And then here we had a 15. So that is our pattern, right? So what we had here is incorrect, right? It's incorrect. That is an errata. So I'm going to fix it on the question paper before I post it online. I'm sorry to my learners. You should have told me. You should have told me that these things here is not corresponding to our triangles there, right? But nevertheless, let's do our correction, right? So they're saying number of triangle in the nth pattern is given by this one. Write down the number of triangle on the fourth pattern. So you can see that on the first one, it increased by 3. On the second one, it increased by 4. And then it increased by 5. So it's going to increase by 6. So it's going to be 21, right? It's going to be 21. 2.1. The first thing is going to be 21. Right, the first thing is going to be 21. 2.1, the first thing is going to be 21. I'm sorry, my pen have run out of battery. Right, my pen have run out of battery. So let me just quickly plug it in. Let me just quickly plug it in. Okay, so 2.1 here, we are going to have what? We are going to have, we add the 6 on the 15, so it's going to be 21. And then we add a 7, because the number that we're adding was increasing by 2, so it's going to be 28 there, right? So that is our next 2, the fourth. Okay, they said the fourth only, so the fourth is going to be 21, right? The fourth is going to be 21, so there is the fourth, right? Sorry, there is the fourth pattern, right? It's going to be 21. They didn't ask for the fifth, so they only asked for the fourth. So let's go to 2.4. Your 2.2, sorry, 2.2. They want what? 2.2. They are saying determine the nth term. We know that Gn equals to an squared plus bn plus c. So we need to find our values. So I know that I've got 6, 10, and 15, right? So the difference here is going to be what? The difference here is going to be 10 minus 6 is going to be 4. And then this one is going to be 5. So the second difference is 1, right? So it means that 2a equals to 1. Then our a is going to be 1 over 2, right? And then 3a plus b, we know that is equals to this one, is equals to 4. And then since our a is 1 over 2, so it's going to be 3 into 1 over 2, and then plus b equals to 4. So b is going to be 4 minus 3 over 2. So what is that one? So it's 1,5 there. If I subtract 1,5 on 4, I've got 2,5. So it's going to be 5 over 2. All right, that is our b. And then a plus b plus c is equals to what? A plus b plus c equals to 6. So it's equals to 6. And then our a is 1 over 2 plus b is 5 over 2 plus c equals to 6. So it means that our c is going to be 6 minus 1 over 2 minus 5 over 2. And then equals to c. So this one and this one is 6 over 2, which is 3. So it's going to be 3 here, right? Our C is 3. So our equation is going to be Tn equals to 1 over 2 n squared plus 5 over 2 and then n and then plus 1 over 2. So that is our plus C. Our C is 3. Our C is 3 there, right? Our C is 3. I hope I didn't make any mistake there. So that is our Tn, right? That is our Tn. And then now they want the 20th term. So they want the T20. T20 is 2.3. 2.3, they want T20. So it means that's going to be what? It's going to be equals to 1 over 2 into 20 squared plus 5 over 2 into 20 plus 3. This is 3. All right. So it means that this one here is going to be 200. It's going to be 20 by 20 is 2 by 2, which is 4. And then 2 zeros is 400, right? 400 and half. So it's going to be 200. And then that one here is going to be 10 by that one. It's going to be 15, right? It's going to be, yes, it's going to be 10 by that one. It's going to be 50. And then plus 3. So the answer is going to be 253. There we are. And then now they are saying if Tn minus 1 equals to 13, determine the value of Tn, right? So it means that Tn is what? Tn, we know that Tn is 1 over 2 n squared plus 5 over 2 n plus 3. So if they're saying the difference between two consecutive terms is 13, so we need to find the answer, right? So I'm going to write the 2.4. I'm going to write it in two ways, and then we should get the same answer, right? So it's the difference between two consecutive terms, right? Is equals to 13, but we can also use it by finding the first difference. The sequence of first difference is 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 4 is between what? Is term number 1 on the first difference, but it's between 2 and 3, or 1 and 2, right? So it means that 13 is going to be term number what? If A is 4 and D is 1. If A is 4 and D is 1. And then Tn is 13, right? That is our first difference. Our first difference is arithmetic with a difference of 1, right? So it means that it's going to be Tn equals to, or we can just say 13 equals to A, which is 4, plus into n minus 1, and then D, which is 1, right? It's going to be 4, 13 minus 4, and then equals to n minus 1. So we take 1 to the other side is 13. It's going to be 9 plus 1, which is going to be n. So n is going to be 10. So on the first difference here, you have to understand that term number 1 is between 1 and 2, right? So it means that term number 10 is going to be between 10 and 11. So it means that this is 10, this is 11 and 10, right? So it's between 11 and 10. So n is 10. All right, so n is because it's a minus there, it means that it's n and, okay, so I found that this is 10. So this is between what? This is between, it's not between 10 and 9, it's between 11 and, it's between 11 and 10. So it means that this n is 10. I'm failing to rearrange this. This is number 10. 13 is between number 10 and 11. It's between 10 and 11. So this one is not 11. This one, if this one is 10, this one is 9. So for this one to be 11, that other one to be 10, it needs to be 11. So it means that our n is going to be 11. Yes, our n is going to be 11. There we are. Right? So let's find it using the longer root, right? Finding it using the longer root. Remember, it was Tn minus Tn minus 1 equals to 13, right? So if I am using the longer root, it's going to be Tn is what? Is 1 over 2 n squared plus 5 over 2 n plus 3, right? And then minus Tn minus 1, it means that wherever I see n, I'm going to write it n minus 1 squared, and then plus 5 over 2 into n minus 1, and then plus 3 equals to 13, right? So now let's simplify everything. It's 1 over 2 n squared plus 5 over 2 n plus 3 minus 1 over 2, sorry, minus 1 over 2 here, minus 1 over 2 into n squared minus 2n plus 1, and then plus 5 over 2n minus 5 over 2 plus 3 equals 13. All right, so let's simplify still inside the brackets. It's going to be 1 over 2 n squared. Sorry, this one ends here, right? Okay, 1 over 2 n squared plus 5 over 2 n plus 3 into, okay, it's minus here. I forgot to put the minus here, right? I forgot to put the minus there, so it's going to be 1 over 2 and negative, where is the negative? Okay, I've put that minus on the wrong place, right? I've put that minus on the wrong place, so that minus there, here, right? I've put it in the wrong place here. I've put it in the wrong place here. What's that notification there? You'll end up seeing my millions here. Okay, it's LinkedIn subscription declining. Okay, so it's going to be what? It's going to be plus 3 and then minus into 1 over 2 n squared, and then minus 1 over 2 multiplied by 2 is going to be n, and then plus 1 over 2, and then plus 5 over 2 n, and then minus 5 over 2 plus 3 equals to 13, right? So now let's take it, let's simplify the inside of brackets. So I'm going to add these two, and this one and this one and that one, right? So I'm going to have 1 over 2 n squared plus 5 over 2 n, and then plus 3 minus into 1 over 2 n squared, and then this one here and that one will give us what? It's negative 1, and then that one, so it's going to be 3 over 2, right? It's going to be plus 3 over 2 n, right? And then that other one, the whole number, the numbers is going to be 1 over 2, and then this one here, so it's going to be what? It's going to be 4 over 2. 4 over 2 is going to be negative 2. Negative 2 plus that one is going to be plus 1 there, right? Yes, it's going to be plus 1. Yes, it's going to be plus 1. So when you take in equals to 13, so when you take in the negative there, it's going to be plus 5 over 2n plus 3 minus 1 over 2n squared minus 3 over 2n minus 1 equals to 13. So now this one and this one will go home, and then this one and that one will give us 2 over 2n, which is going to be 1n, right? If I add these two here, I get 1, right? It's going to be n. It's going to be n, and then this one here and that one will be what? Will be 2, right? Will be 2, and then when it goes that other side, it's going to be 13 minus 2, so n is going to be 11. Thank you very much. It's the same as that one, right? It's the same as that one. This one was easy, straightforward, but you needed to see your things perfectly, right? You needed to see your things correctly there. So that is our answer, right? Our n is 11, right? Our n is 11. So let's quickly jump into the next one. Let's quickly jump into the next one. The next one, what are they looking for? The next one, they are saying calculate the largest value of n for which the pattern will contain that is less than 500 triangle, right? So we need less than 500 triangles, right? So how are we going to find this one, guys? This one, you are going to calculate the largest value of n for which the pattern will contain less than 500 triangles, right? So you work this one as if you are looking for 500, right? You work it if you are looking for tn equals to 500, right? So if the answer maybe is 8, 3, right? It means that less than 500. 8 will be less than 500, but after 8,3 we're going to 9. 9 will be more than 500, right? So that is what we look for in this kind of question, right? That is what we look for in this kind of question. So I'm going to have Tn equals to 500. So it means that's going to be Tn. It's going to be Tn. Okay, Tn is what? Tn is 1 over 2 n squared, 1 over 2 n squared plus 5 over 2n plus 3 plus 5 over 2n plus 3 equals to 500, right? So it's going to be 1 over 2n squared plus 5 over 2n plus 3 minus 500 equals 0. It's going to be 1 over 2n squared plus 5 over 2, and then that one there is going to be minus 497 equals 0. So it means that this one here, I don't think we can be able to factorize this one. Let's just use our quadratic. So n is going to be negative b, which is going to be 5 over 2 plus or minus the square root of 5 over 2 squared minus 4, and then a is 1 over 2, and then c is negative 497, and then all over 2 into 1 over 2, right? So let's use that into the calculator quickly. So it's going to be what? Let's be quick. It's going to be negative 5 over 2, 5 over 2, and then plus or minus, so I'm going to use a plus, square root of 5 over 2 squared minus 4, a is 1 over 2, and then c is negative 497, all over 1, right? So the answer is 29,126. The answer is 29,126. There's no need for us to look at the negative because our quadratic will not go to the negatives, right? So it means that the answer is going to be the largest value, n, is going to be 29. So T29 will be less than 500, but T30 going on, they will all be greater than 500, right? So there is our final answer, right? There is our answer. We are done with this question. We are going to question 3. So they're saying given the arithmetic series 6, 11, 16, determine the value of t is 85. So to determine the value of t85, I know that my first term there, so 3.1, I know that t85 is going to be a plus 84d. All right, so a is the first term, is 6 plus 84 by the difference, which is 5, right? So it's going to be what? It's going to be 6 plus that one is going to be 420. All right, and then it's going to be 426. So that is my T85, and then now they want my S85. So I know that Sn equals to n over 2 into first term plus the last term, because I've got the last term there, and then T S85 is going to be this one here is going to be what? It's going to be 85 over 2 into the first term is what? The first term is 6, and then plus the last term, which is 85, or 426, right? So there we are. Let me quickly punch this into the calculator. Quickly punch this into the calculator. I'm sorry I didn't have my calculator with me. This is going to be what? It's going to be 85 over 2. 85 over 2 into 6 plus 426. The answer is 18,360. 18,360. That is our answer, right? And also, sorry, let me just put this calculator of mine into charger. Okay, so that is our 3.2 here. So that is our 3.1.2. So this is 3.1.1, this is 3.1.2, right? So let's quickly go to 3.1.3. 3.1.3, they are saying calculate the value of n for which Tn will be 501. All right, so it's going to be 501 equals to Tn, we know that is a, which is 6, plus into n minus 1, and then d, which is 5. All right, so I'm just gonna take the 6 to the other side, so it's going to be 501, sorry, 501 minus 6 equals to n minus 1 multiplied by 6, multiplied by 5. So what's going on? And then I'm going to divide by 5, divide by 5. So this one is going to be, it was supposed to be what? It was supposed to be 100, so it's going to be 99 equals to n minus 1. All right, yes. Okay, and then now I can take 1 to the other side, n is going to be 100. So there we are. All right, n is going to be 100. And then we can go to the next one. The next one, what are they looking for? The next one, they're saying the following information is given about the quadratic pattern. T1 is 4, and then T2 minus T1 is 11, and then T3 minus T2 is 23. So T1, T2, T1, T2, T3. Okay, so they're saying that show that T5 is 128. So T1 is what? T1 is 4, and then T2 is not given, but T2 minus T1 is 11. All right, and then they've given us that T3 minus T2 is 23. So I've got 23 here. All right, so it means that this one here, the difference is 11, so it's going to be 15 here. Right, it was not given, so let me put it into the circle because it was not given. All right, and then let me just use a different color because it was not given. So I've got a 15 here. All right, and then T3 is going to be plus 23, so it's going to be 38. Right, it's going to be 38. It's going to be 38. It was not given. Right, so it means that the second difference is what? The second difference here is going to be, this one, 23 minus 11 is going to be 12, right? 23 minus 11 is going to be 12. Yes, right? So that is our second difference, right? That is our second difference, which means that this one plus 12 here is going to be what? It's going to be 35, right? And then if I add 35 here, what am I going to have? I am going to have 35 plus that one is 73. I'm going to have 73. So that is our T4, right? That is our T4. So the answer is 73, right? So I'm sure these 2 marks there, answer only is going to be a mark, right? So that is our number what? That is our 3.2.1. So 3.2.1 is going to be 73, all right? And 3.2.2, they're saying show that the general term of the sequence is that one. So I know that my a, true a is going to be 12, so my a is going to be 6 there, and then 3a plus b equals to the first difference, so it's going to be the first difference is going to be 11, and then when I substitute, the a is going to be 3 into 6 plus b equals to 11. So this one is 18. When I go that side, it's going to be negative 18. 11 minus 18, so b is going to be negative 7. All right, b is negative 7. Am I still good there? I should check my answer. Yes, I'm still good. And then a plus b plus c equals to the first term there. The first term is 4, so equals to 4. So what is our a? Our a is 6, and then b is minus 7, and then plus c equals to 4. So when I subtract, it's going to be negative 1. When it goes to the other side, it's going to be positive 5. So that there it is. I've found my a, b, and c. Tn equals to 6n squared minus 7n plus 5. So there we are. That is our answer, right? That is our Tn. And then the thing shows that the pattern will increase for all values of n. n is the element of natural number. Natural numbers are positives, right? So they are saying show that the pattern will be increasing into all those numbers, right? Remember, this is a quadratic pattern, and because a is positive, the quadratic is going to be like this, right? So it means that this turning point should be on the negative. If the turning point is on the negative, it means that for natural number after the y-axis here, this thing will be increasing, right? So you prove by finding that the turning point there is on the negative, right? The turning point is on the negative, right? So I'm going to use the turning point method. So it's 2.2.3, right? So n is going to be negative b over 2a. So it's going to be negative into negative 7 over 2 into 6. So why is it a positive? Why is it a positive? So what's going to be the answer here? The answer here is going to be this is 0 comma what? Okay, yes, the answer is a fraction, right? It means that the turning point is somewhere around here, right? The turning point is somewhere around maybe here, right? So if it's before 1 here, because the t1 will be here, so it means that from 0 it went down, it was coming down, but after this one it is going to go up to infinity, right? So it means that this one is going to be what? This one is going to be 7 over 12, which is 0 comma something, which is a fraction, right? Which is a fraction which is less than 1, right? So they're saying that pattern will increase from t1. So after t1 the pattern will be increasing, right? So that is our natural number, right? 1 is our natural number, right? So there we are. From t1 the pattern is increasing up to infinity, right? So we needed this thing here to find out that thing. So if it was maybe a 3 here or a 4, then from 1 to 4 the pattern was going to be decreasing, right? So that is what you should understand there, right? And then I've never come across that kind of question. Okay, so let's go to this one, question 4 of sigma. Question 4, I've given you the idea. Whenever you come across sigma, the first thing that you do is to expand your sigma, right? Okay, let's look at the first question. They're saying write down the value of the first two terms. So the first two terms, it means that's going to be t1 is going to be what? It's going to be 5 into 3 to the power of 2 minus 1, which is going to be what? Which is going to be 3, and that one is going to be 15. That is our t1. And then t2 is going to be 5 into 3 to the power of 2 minus 2, and then equals to, this is going to be 0, so it's going to be 5 there, right? And then if I am, so this is our t1, and then this is our t2, right? That is our t2. So the answers there is 5 and 15 and 5, right? So if I am to find t3, just for to check if my my things is what do you call this, geometric, right? T3 is going to be 5 into 3 to the power of 2 minus 3. 2 minus 3 is 2 to the negative 1, right? So it means that's going to be 5 multiplied by 3 to the negative 1, right? So it means that this is 5 over 3, right? So you can see that I divided by 3 to get this one, I divide 5 by 3 to get that one. So this is indeed our geometric, which is decreasing, right? That is our geometric that is decreasing. So we can also have sum to infinity on this one, right? We can also have the sum to infinity on this one. So let's go to 4.2. 4.2, what are they looking for? 4.2, okay, this was 4.1.1, 4.1.2. What are they looking for? They're saying calculate the sum to infinity. So sum to infinity, I know that's going to be what? It's going to be a over 1 minus r. So I know my a is what? I know that my a is 15, and then my r is going to be 5 over 15, which is 1 over 3. All right, so it's going to be 15 over 1 minus 1 over 3. So this one is going to be 3 over 2. So it's going to be what? It's going to be 15 by 2. Okay, so the denominator is going to be what? The denominator is going to be 2 over 3. Right? So it's going to be by 3 over 2, right? By 3 over 2, by 3 over 2. So it means that's going to be 45 over 2. That is our answer, right? That is our answer. That is our sum to infinity, right? That is our sum to infinity. So let's quickly go to the next one. The next one is 4.2. 4.2, what are they looking for? 4.2. 4.2, they are saying consider the following geometric sequence. T1 is sine of 30. Sine of 30, special angle is 1 over 2. And then the second one is cos of 30. The third one is 3 over 2. And then I've got 81 root 3 over 2. Alright, so this one is 1 over 2 is 2. Cos of 30 is what? Cos of 30, I'm forgetting cos of 30. Forgetting cos of 30 is a special angle. You don't need to use a calculator, right? I just forgot it because I'm not going to sit for exams, right? So it's root 3 over 2. This one is root 3 over 2. And then dot 3 over 2. Okay, I see now my pattern. I can see my pattern now. 81 root 3 over 2. So there is my pattern. I can see that I'm multiplying by root 3 everything, right? I'm multiplying by root 3. So now they are saying what are they looking for? They're saying determine the number of terms in the sequence. So I know that my A is going to be 1 over 2. My R is going to be root 3 over 2 over 1 over 2, right? So this is going to be root 3 over 2 by 2 over 1. So the answer is going to be root 3. So there is my R, right? So the last term is this one there, right? So it means that I know that Tn is what? Tn is equals to A to the R, ARn to the negative 1 to the n minus 1 there, right? So I know that the last term is 81 root 3 over 2 equals to A, which is the first term. It's going to be 1 over 2 by R, which is root 3 to the power of n minus 1. All right, so it means that I'm just going to multiply by 2 both sides or divide by negative, right? Multiply by 2 or divide by negative so that this one and this one will go home. Then when I multiply by 2, this one and this one will go home. So I'll have 81 root 3 equals to root 3 to the power of n minus 1. All right, so this one here, I cannot easily use shift factor. I can use the log, right? I can use the log, but you should be able to use shift fact, right? You should be able to use shift fact, right? So if you want to use shift fact, okay, this is what you can do. You can write this one as 81 root 3 equals to this one here is going to be root 3 to the power of n, and then multiply by root 3 to the negative 1, right? So to the negative 1 is the same as the denominator, right? To the negative 1 is the same as denominator. So it's 81 root 3 over 1 equals to root 3 to the n over 1, right? Over root 3, right? So when you cross multiply root 3 and root 3 will multiply to be 3, right? It's going to be root 3. Root 3 is the same as to the power of 1 over 2, right? So it's going to be 3 to the power of 1 over 2 to the n. This one here, when I multiply it with 1, so it's the same as that, right? I've written it in exponential form, and then equals to root 3, and root 3 is going to be 3, so I'm going to have 81 by 3. So it's going to be 3 to the power of 1 over 2 n equals to 81 by 3. So what is 81 by 3? Is 80, is 80, 8, 16, 24 is 243. 243, right? So if you write 243 shift fact, it should give you the answer. 243 shift fact is going to give us an answer. So it's 3 to the power of 5, right? So it's going to be 3 to the power of 1 over 2n equals to 3 to the power of 5, right? So it's going to be 1 over 2n equals to 5. So when I multiply both sides by 2 or divide by half, n is going to be 10, right? So n is going to be 10. So here you could have solved it here. It it was going to be good, right? So you could have solved it here. That is why it have got fewer, oh, it have got 5 marks there. It have got 5 marks. I don't know why the 5 marks, because I could have substituted, oh, because I needed to find A and R. Those are the first 2 marks, substituting to the equation, another mark, and then use applying log or simplifying, another mark, and then final answer. So 5 marks are enough, right? So here you could have used your log, right? So it was going to be what? It was going to be n minus 1 equals to log, and then this is our base. Our base is square root of 3, and then here I'm going to have 81 root 3, right? So if I use that one, what am I going to have? If I use the log there, I should be able to get the final answer at once, right? So its log base is root 3, and then the product is what? The product is 81 root 3. So the answer is 9, right? The answer is 9. So it was going to be n minus 1 equals to 9. So we take 1 to the other side, and it's going to be 10. So it's the same way, but this is how we should do it, right? Log, yes, you can apply log, is fine, right? You can apply log, you are going to get full marks, right? So the marks here was going to be for the final answer, application of log, substituting back to the equation, and then A and R. So there we are, right? There is our 5 marks, right? And then if you use this method here, they're going to give us a final mark, and then they're going to give us a method mark for steps there, right? But the answer is n is 10, right? Okay, so let's quickly go to the next one. The next one, they are saying the following geometric series is given 2. Okay, so there is the geometric series, and then they are saying determine the values of x for which the series will converge. So the first thing that I will do is to calculate r, right? We'll start by calculating r. So this is 4.3, this is 4.3, 4.3. I will calculate r. R is t2 over t1, all right? Or t3 over t2, right? So t2 over t1 is going to be what? It's going to be 2 into x, or 3x minus 1 squared over 2 into 3x minus 1, right? So 2 and 2 will go home, 3x minus 1 will cancel 1, 3x minus 1. So our r is going to be 3x minus 1. So let's confirm again by using t3 over t2, right? Let's confirm again. I'm just confirming here whether it's correct, right? So it's, if I've got 2x into 3x minus 1 to the 3 over 2 into 3x minus 1 to the 2. So this 2 and this 2 will go home, and then this squared will cancel 2 of them there. So still I'm going to have 3x minus 1. So that is our r, right? So we know that for a series to converge, our r must be between -1 and +1, right? So our r is 3x minus 1. So it's going to be -1 less than 3x minus 1, which is less than 1, right? So I'll take 1 both sides. So it's going to be -1 plus 1 less than 3x, which is less than 1 plus 1. So it's going to be 0 less than 3x, which is less than 2. So I divide by 3 both sides, divide by 3 both sides. So it's going to be 0 less than x, which is less than the 2 over 3, which is less than 2 over 3. So there we are. That is our x. That is our x there. So we are done with this one. Let's go to the next one. Write down the equation of a vertical asymptote of h. So you can see that the vertical asymptote is when the denominator is 0, right? So the equation of vertical asymptote is equals to, is always denominator equals to 0, right? So it's going to be what? It's going to be this is 5.1. It's going to be x minus 2 equals to 0. So x is 2. That is our vertical asymptote, right? And then 5.2, they want the range. 5.2, they want the range. So to find the range, we must have a horizontal asymptote, and we can't say this is horizontal asymptote because it's not in standard form. We need to write it in standard form first, right? So it's going to be x minus 2 over x minus 2, and then to make this a -1 to be on top there, I'll have plus 1, because this one will be -1. I didn't change anything there, right? I didn't change anything there. I didn't change anything there, right? I didn't change anything there. So the minus 1 is still there at the end. Minus 1, that is our h of x, right? So now I'm going to simplify. So it's going to be h of x equals to x minus 2 over x minus 2, and then plus 1 over x minus 2, and then minus 1. So this one becomes 1 there, right? This will become 1. So it's going to be h of x equals to 1 plus 1 over 2, x minus 2, sorry, and then minus 1. So 1 minus 1 will be 0. So we have 1 over x minus 2. So that is our h of x. That is our h of x. So you can see that the asymptote is at 0, right? It's plus 0 here. The asymptote is at 0, right? Because this one and this one added up and became a 0, right? So it means that the, what do you call this? The range is going to be y is an element of real number, but y is not equals to 0, right? Because the asymptote is at 0, right? So there we are. And then we go to the next question. The next question is what? The next question is 5.3. They want the x-intercept of the graph. So the x-intercept, I know that my y is 0, so it's going to be 0. X-intercept of the graph, my y is 0, right? So this graph doesn't have an x-intercept, because if I've got 0 here, it will be 1 over x minus 2. I won't be able to solve for x, right? So there is none, right? Doesn't have an x-intercept, because yes, it doesn't have an x-intercept because the asymptote is on the x-axis, right? The asymptote is on the x-axis. It makes sense, right? So this graph doesn't have an x-intercept. So 5.4, they want the y-intercept. For y-intercept, x is 0, so it's going to be h of 0 equals to 1 over 0 minus 2. So this one is negative 1 over 2, right? This one is negative 1 over 2. So there is our y-intercept, right? There is our y-intercept. So now they are saying sketch the graph. So when I sketch the graph, I'll show those two key points, right? Those two key points is going to be our, I'll start with the asymptotes. The asymptote, the other one is at 0, the other one is at 2. X equals to 2 is right here. X equals to 2 is right there. And then the y-intercept is at negative 2. Negative 2 is right here. Oh, sorry, it's negative 2 is right here. Yes, let me put it down there. And then let me just put this closer to our axis, right? Let me just put this closer to our axis. Yes, let me just put this closer so that the distance will be this will be identical to that one. There we are, right? Okay, why am I saying negative 2? I'm the one who's making a mistake here, right? It's not at negative 2, it is at negative 1 over 2. So negative 1 over 2, I'll put it here, right? Yes, so there we are, right? And then our asymptote, the other asymptote is here, so there is no need for him to draw it. I cannot draw it there. I'll just show that my graph is approaching the x-axis there, and the graph is approaching the asymptote there, right? So there we are, right? And then on this other side here, the graph is like this there. So there we are, right? So there we is our graph. And then when they mark here, they are going to mark for the shape, correct shape. And then the asymptote here you should show, right? You should show that here is at 2, and then here is at negative 1 over 2, right? They are going to give you a mark for the shape, a mark for the vertical asymptote, and then a mark for the y-intercept there, and then a mark for the horizontal asymptote. How are we going to see the horizontal asymptote? By the graph approaching the x-axis and not touching the x-axis, right? So there we are. And then I can show that this graph here is h, right? So there we are. That is our final full marks there, right? That is our full marks there. So let's go to the next question. Okay, the next question, they are saying the graph of p of x, which is that one, and m of x, which is that one, are drawn. P has an x-intercept at d. Okay, there is our d. Where is our d? it is -1 and 0. Okay, there is our D, which is -1 and 0. Let me just increase the size of this thing here because the font here is too small, right? Yes, if it's like this, I believe we can see everything, right? Okay, so there is our x-intercept. The thing is -1 and 0, and C, which is 4 and 0. So we've got the roots of the graph there, so we are good, right? And then m of x, it's a full graph, it is shown, right? And then they're saying are drawn below. P has an x-intercept. Okay, sorry, there's someone who's making noise outside. And then they're saying and the graph of P and M intersects at the points A and C. So graph intersects here at A and C, and then a vertical line is drawn between A and C. Between A and C, there is the vertical line, which is what? Vertical line is drawn between A and C. A vertical line drawn between A and C intersects the graph of P at K. So intersects P at K, and then M at what? And then M at L there, right? And then now they are saying determine the equation of P of X. So P of X, we've got this coordinate, which is our roots, and then we've got B there, which is what? B, they said, is 3 is to -4, right? So it means that for us to find the equation here, we are going to use what? We're going to use P of X equals to ax squared plus bx plus c. So what is our A? Our A is going to be what? Our A is going to be, okay, so because I've got roots, I'm going to use A into x minus x1 and then x minus x2, right? So what is x1 and x2? What is x1 and x2? X1 and x2 is going to be x minus -1, so it's going to be +1, and then x minus 4, right? And then now we can substitute our x and y, which is this coordinate 3 is to -4. It's going to be -4 equals to A into 3 plus 1, and then 3 minus 4, right? So it means that -4 is going to be, this is 4, this is -1, it's going to be -4a. So we divide by -4, we divide by -4, our a becomes 1, all right? Our a is 1. So I've got P of x equals to 1 into x plus 1, and then x minus 4, right? So if I expand those things, what am I going to have? I'm going to have P of x. This one I can omit it because 1 multiplied by anything is 1, right? So it's going to be x squared minus 3x, and then what? And then minus 4. Minus 4. So that is our P of x, right? That is our P of x. And then after, okay, so they're saying determine the equation of P of x. So this is the equation of P of x. And then now they're saying determine the coordinates of A. A is the point of intersection there. On the point of intersection, this is 6.2. Points of intersection, P of x will be M of x, right? So the two graphs are equal, right? So what is our P of x, or what is our, this one's going to be x squared minus 3x minus 4 equals to M of x is 1 over 2x minus 2. So when I bring everything to the other side, it's going to be x squared minus 2x, 3x, sorry, and then minus 4, and then minus 1 over 2x plus 2 is 0. So this one and this one will give us what? Will give us, this is 6 over 2, so it's going to be 7 over 2, right? It's going to be x squared minus 7 over 2x, and then this one is going to be minus 2 equals 0. So when I multiply everything by 2, it's going to be 2x squared minus 7x minus 4 equals 0. So if I am to factorize, it's going to be 2x into what? 2x into what? 4, and this one and that one should give us a 4. 4 and 1 won't give us a 7, so it should be a 4, so that I'll get an 8. And then here should be a what? Should be a positive 1, right? Equals to 0. So x will be -1 over 2, or x will be 4. So -1 over 2 is this one here, and then 4 is that one there, right? So it means that the x there on the point of intersection is this one here. So I'm just going to find m of -1 over 2, which is going to be 1 over 2 into -1 over 2 minus 2. So this is what? This is 1 over 4, right? This is -1 over 4, and then that one is 8 over 4, so it's going to be 7 over 4. This is negative 1 over 4 and negative 8 over 4. So this is negative 9 over 4. Sorry for that mistake. So it's negative 9 over 4 there. All right. So it means that the coordinates that they were looking for was the coordinates of what? They were looking for coordinates of A. So A is going to be negative 1 over 2 is to negative 9 over 4. So there we are. Those are our coordinates, right? Those are our coordinates. So now let's look at 6.3. 6.3, they are saying if K and L lie between A and B, lies between A and B. Okay, so somewhere between there. These guys are making a lot of noise. Okay, so if it lies between A and B, what are we going to do? They are saying determine the maximum. Okay, determine the length in terms of K. Right, so it means that is top minus bottom. So it's the top graph minus bottom graph. We talked about that, right? So it means that LK is going to be top graph, which is m of x, minus f of x, which is the bottom graph, or p of x, which is the bottom graph, right? So what is m of x is 1 over 2 x minus 2, and then minus p of x, which is x squared. Is x squared. P of x is what? Is x squared. Where is p of x? Oh, it's x squared minus 3x minus 4, right? So it's going to be plus 3x plus 4 because of this negative, right? When it gets inside there, it's going to change the sign of everything. So let me just give you the preferred way. Minus 3x minus 4. Minus 3x minus 4. Right? We put into the brackets there so that when you take in the negative, it's going to be 1 over 2x minus 2 minus x squared minus 3x, plus 3x, sorry, plus 4 then. All right, so if we are to add these two here, it's going to be what? It's going to be negative x squared, and then this and this we know that is plus 7 over 2x, and then 2, and that one is going to be plus 2. So there we are. That is our length of LK in terms of x. All right, that is our length of LK in terms of x. Right, that is the length of LK in terms of x. So we can write LK in terms of x, LK in terms of x. Right, so now we know the length of LK in terms of x. So now they are saying determine the maximum length. So to determine the maximum length, what do? Maximum length, we find the turning point, right? We find the turning point because this thing is quadratic, and then it's a set face quadratic. So the maximum distance, or the maximum whatever, is going to be there. All right, so the maximum is at the turning point. So to find the maximum, I'm going to find I can use negative x equals to negative b over 2a, and then which means that's going to be negative into 7 over 2, and then divided by 2 into negative 1. All right, so the answer here is going to be 7 over 4. All right, the answer is going to be 7 over 4. All right, so after finding this answer here, I can substitute it to LK. All right, so LK max, LK of what? Of 7 over 2 is going to be what? It's going to be negative into 7 over 2. Oh, 7 over 4. Sorry, 7 over 4. 7 over 4 squared plus 7 over 2 into 7 over 4, and then plus 2. So let's check this one into the calculator quickly. So it's going to be what? It's going to be negative 7 over 4. Negative 7 over 4. 7 over 4. I forgot the squared there. Negative 7 over 4 squared. These guys are making noise. Yo. Okay, plus 7 over 2. 7 over 2 into 7 over 2 into 7 over 2. Sorry, into 7 over 2. 7 over 2. And then after that, I've got what? I've got plus 2. Plus 2. So I got 11,18. Is it correct? That is too big, right? Isn't it too big? No, it is not. It has to be our answer, right? It has to be our answer is 11 or 179 over 16, right? 179 over 16. So I'm going to leave it as 179 over 16. That is what I got there. I hope I punched my calculator well, right? So now let's go to the last question where they're saying if it is given that c of x is equals to m into x plus k, determine the value or values of k for which the graph of c and p intersect at 2 points. Both of them are positive. So you can see that these graphs are intersecting here. You can see that these graphs are intersecting here, and then there, and then there, and then here it is going to be a tangent, right? It's going to be a tangent, right? It's going to be a tangent. So it means that I must find the value of where it intersects at the tangent as the tangent, the value of k where it will intersect as a tangent here, and also after that I should find a value of k where it will intersect here, because here it is when it is intersecting at 0 and positive, and then on top there it is negative and positive, and then the answer said both positive, right? Both positive is between this k when the tangent is when the line is here, and k when the tangent is there. All right, so I will find the k when the tangent is here first, right? How do I find the tangent? I equate the two graphs. I will equate f, the safe values of p and c. All right, so equate p equals to c first. I will start with p of x equals to c of x first. All right, so what is p of x? Is x squared minus 3x minus 4 equals to c of x is m plus k, is m of x plus k. So m of x was 1 over 2, and then in terms of x, the same, we should write x plus k. All right, and then plus minus 2, sorry, minus 2. So it's going to be minus 2 there, minus 2 there. So after that I'm going to expand everything, right? Yo guys, these guys are making a lot of noise. Yo, okay, I'm sorry for that. And then this one is going to be what? This one is going to be x squared minus 3x minus 4, and then equals to 1 over 2x plus 1 over 2k, and then minus 2, right? So I bring everything to the left hand side. It's going to be x squared minus 3x minus 1 over 2x minus 4 plus 2 minus 1 over 2k, right? So it's going to be x squared minus 7 over 2x, and then this one's going to be minus 2, and then minus 1 over 2k, right? So there we are, right? That is our equation, equals to 0, sorry, equals to 0 here, equals to 0. So for it to be a tangent, I know that my delta must be equals to 0, right? So delta is b squared minus 4ac equals to 0, right? So let me just send a quick let me quickly send what do we call this, a link to the class, because I've got a class now at I've got a class now at what do you call, at 8 o'clock for rewriting learners, right? I've got a class for learners that are rewriting now at 8 o'clock, right? So let me send them the link. They will be joining, right? They will be joining the link. But for us, let's continue with our work, right? Let's continue with our work. Okay, so this one is going to be what is going to be our b? This is our b. So our b is negative 7 over 2 squared minus 4, and then what's going to be our a? Our a is 1, right? And then what's going to be our c? Our c is this one here, right? So it's going to be negative 2 minus 1 over 2k, and then equals to 0. So now let's solve for k for a tangent, right? Let's solve for k for a tangent. So to solve for k for a tangent is going to be what? It's going to be this one here. This one is going to be what? This one is going to be 14 over 2 minus it's going to be plus 8, and then plus also plus what? Plus 2k equals to 0, right? So if I add this one here, this is 16, and then that is okay. So this is what? Okay, this is over 4. I've made a mistake there. So it's going to be 2k equals to what? I've made a huge mistake here when I'm squaring, right? When I was squaring here, I made a huge mistake, right? So it's going to be what? It's going to be 49 over 4. 49 over 4, right? It's 49 over 4. is 49 over 4 is 49 over 4. So if I take 49 over 4 and add it with 8, 8 is 32. So 32 plus that one is going to be what? It's going to be 32. So it's going to be 81 over 4, right? So that is our 81 over 4, right? So when I divide by 2, it's going to be k is going to be 81 over 8, right? So that is our k when we've got a tangent, right? When we've got a tangent, because delta equals to 0 for a tangent, so the k will be equal to that when it is passing through here, right? So I need the k when it will be passing through here, when the line will be passing through here, right? So here we know that is the y-intercept of that graph, which is what? Okay, where is the equation of the graph? The y-intercept is at -4. I know that here is at -4. It's at -4, right? So the tangent must have the line, this line here must have a y-intercept at -4. So I'm going to write c of x. C of x is going to be 1 over 2 into x plus k, and then minus 2. So if I expand this, I know that is 1 over 2 x, and then plus 1 over 2 k minus 2, right? Minus 2. So I know that this one here must be -4 to make it pass through here, right? It should be -4. Remember, this one is the y-intercept, right? This one is the y-intercept. So it must be through here so that it will pass through there, right? So it means that 1 over 2 k minus 2 should be equals to 4, right? Should be equals to 4. So when it is equals to 4, it means that I'm going to take 2 to the other side or multiply by 2. Same time, everything here. So it's going to be k minus 4 equals to 8. So k will be 12. There we are, right? Our k will be 12, right? Is it correct? Yes, our k will be 12. So our k is 12. Since our k is 12 there, it means what? It means that k should be between this one and that one, all right? So which one is smaller? This one is 10 comma something, this one is 12, right? This one is 10 comma something, yes. So it means that it's going to be 81 over 8 and then k and then 12. So it's going to go like this. So that is our answer, right? Our k should be between 81 over 8 and 12, right? So that is our answer there. And then that is when the roots are going to be positive, right? So we're gonna go to the next question soon. And let's look at question 7. Question 7, they've given us a graph and then they've given us it here, but they've given us also in A, B, and C. And then g of x, they've given us in full there, are drawn. F as a turning point at P. So P is 9 over 2 is negative 9 over 4. And pass through the point S, which is 2 is to 4. Line y equals to mx plus c is a tangent to both graphs of f and g. Okay, so now they're saying determine the range of f. So f have got the turning point at 9 over 2 is negative 9 over 4. So it's that at 9 over 4 going upwards, right? So it means that the tangent there, the turning point there is going to be at 9 over 4. So if I've got the turning point, I can easily write my range. My range is going to be what? 7.1. It starts at negative 9 over 4 going up, right? So it's going to be y is greater or equals to negative 9 over 4. That is our range, right? So we go to 7.2. 7.2, they want us to determine the equation of f, and then they already given it to us here. So we're just proving that it is correct, right? So it means that since I've got the turning point, I know that if I've got a turning point, I'm going to use f of x equals to a into a into x minus p squared plus q. All right, so since I've got the coordinates of s here, which is 2 is to 4, that is the coordinate that I'm going to use, right? So now I'm going to substitute my turning point. So f of x equals to a into x minus the other turning point is what? Is 9 over 2. X is 9 over 2 squared plus the y is going to be negative, right? Negative 9 over 4 minus 9 over 4. I'm sure we all know how to do this one, all right? So after that, I'm going to substitute my x and y, all right? to find my a, right? So my x and y, my y is going to be what? My y is going to be 4, and then my x is going to be 2. So it's going to be a into 2 minus 9 over 2 squared minus 9 over 4. So I can take 9 over 4 to the other side. It's going to be 4 plus 9 over 4 equals to a into this one is going to be what? This is going to be that is going to be 4, so it's going to be 4, so it's going to be 5 over 4, negative 5 over 4 squared, right? So this one is 16, so it's going to be 25 over 4 equals to, this one's going to be 25 over 16 into what? Okay, it's over 2 here. I've made a mistake. It's 5 over 2 there, right? I squared already, right? So it's going to be 25 over 4, right? So it's going to be 25 over 4. I've made a mistake there. 2 minus 9 over 2 is what? 2 minus 9 over 2 is 5 over 4. 5 over 2. Why am I saying 4 again? So it's going to be this one here. So it means that that is 25 over 4, and then that is 25 over 4a. Right, so I'm going to divide both sides by 25 over 4 by 25 over 4. Right, so it means that this one and this one will go home, and this one and this one will go home. Our a will be 1. So is a 1 there? Yes, a is 1, so we are correct, right? So now we are going to do to substitute. I know that our f of x is going to be into x minus 9 over 2 squared, and then minus 9 over 4, minus 9 over 4, right? So if I am to expand, this is going to be what? It's going to be x squared, and then minus 9 over 2, minus 9 over 2 is going to be 9, right? 9x, and then squared is going to be what? It's going to be plus 49 over 4, right? And then minus 9 over 4. So this one becomes x squared minus 9x, and then plus 40 over 4, which is just a 10. So is it correct? It's 18. Why am I getting a 10 here? Why am I getting a 10, whereas the answer there is 18? Why am I getting a 10? If I square this one here, it's supposed to be a positive, right? And then that other one was a negative. So I am getting a 10 here, and then the roots is on the one and that one. So let me find the turning point and see if this question is correct there, or let me check if I made any mistake. If I had made any mistake. So I can't get that 8 in there. I can't get that 8 in there. So I'm getting a 10 instead. I am getting a 10 instead. Okay, so let me check. A is correct, and then here when I expand, it's going to be x squared minus 9x, and this one will be, this one is correct. And then when I subtract this one, the numerator is going to subtract the numerator, so it's going to be 4 indeed, right? It's going to be 4 indeed. And then that is going to be, why am I saying 49 here? I'm the one who is crazy, right? This is madness, right? This is my madness, because that one here, 9 squared is not 7 squared. I don't know why am I getting the 7 squared there. It's going to be 81, right? It's going to be 81, and then 81 minus 9. What is 81 minus 9? 81 minus 9 is going to be 72 over 4. So 72 divided by 4 is indeed 18, right? So if I didn't, okay, so it's 18. There we are correct, right? I don't know what I did there to get my 49 there, right? I'm sorry for that, right? I'm so sorry for that. That is a crazy mistake. It means that if it was not given here, I was gonna be settled with that 10, which is absolutely not correct, right? So as you can see, I'm not using the calculator, so you must always use the calculator, right? You must always use the calculator to avoid what I did there. Okay, so 7.3 they are saying determine the values of k for which g of x equals to k will have 2 positive roots g of x equals to k. Where is g of x? G of x is this one here. So the k, we know that if we've got g of x equals to k, k is the horizontal line, right? So this horizontal line is having two rules there. The other is negative, the other is positive, the other is negative, the other is positive. But when it gets here, the other is 0, the other is positive. And then above is going to be both positive up to the turning point, right? Up to the turning point. So it's going to be what? We need the y-intercept of this one. So I know that the y-intercept is at 1, right? So I will need the turning point there. So the turning point I'm going to use, okay, let me use x equals to negative b over 2a. So it's going to be negative 1 over 2 into negative 1, right? So it's going to be at 1 over 2, right? So also I'm going to find g of 1 over 2. So it's going to be negative 1 over 2 squared plus 1 over 2 plus 1. So what is the answer? This is negative 1 over 4 plus 1 over 2 plus what? Plus 1, right? So this one becomes what? If I subtract these two, this is 2 over 4. So it becomes 1 over 4. 1 over 4, so this is going to be 5 over 4, right? The answer here is 5 over 4. So the answer is between 5 over 4, which is here, and 1, which is there, right? So k is between 1 and 5 over 4. So there is our answer, right? There is our answer for 7.3. All right, so 7.4 there, they want a common tangent. Determine the equation of the common tangent. What do we know about our tangent? We know that to find our tangent, our delta must be equal to 0. We equate the two graphs and our delta must be equal to 0. So our tangent is this one here, and then our graph is f, and then the other one is g. All right, so I'm going to have two equations and try to solve my and see how many unknowns am I going to have, right? So I know that g of x must be equals to y, right? Must be equals to this one. They might intersect so that it is a tangent, right? So I'm going to have negative x plus x, negative x squared plus x plus 1 equals to mx plus c. All right, so if I take this to the left hand side, what am I going to have? I'm going to have what? I'm going to have negative x squared plus x minus mx plus 1 minus c equals 0. All right, so it means that my, okay, it's going to be negative x squared plus into 1 minus m, and then x plus 1 minus c equals 0. So it means that our delta, this is a is 1, negative 1, and then b is this one, and then c is that one, right? So it means that our delta should be equals to 0 for a tangent, right? So what is our delta? Our delta is b squared minus 4ac, right? Is b squared minus 4ac equals to 0. So what is our b? Our b is going to be 1 minus m, right? And then squared minus 4 into a, which is negative 1, and then c, which is 1 minus c, equals to 0, right? So after that, we are going to expand everything. Or do I need to expand everything? Okay, I've got two unknowns there. M is going to be m squared. So the easier one to make the subject is c, all right? So I'm going to make c subject, but let me, yes, I can make c subject here, and then go to the other f. So let's just do f, in fact. So f of x will be what? F of x will be also equals to y, all right? Because it is also a tangent on f of x. So f of x is x squared minus 9x plus 18. So x squared minus 9x plus 18 equals to mx plus c. All right, so after that, now we can bring everything to the left. So it's going to be x squared minus 9x minus mx what plus 18 minus c equals 0, right? So here I'm going to have x squared plus this one is going to be negative 9 minus m, and then x there, then plus 18 minus c equals to 0. So a is 1, b is this one, and c is that one, right? So it means that our what? Our delta should also be equals to 0. Our delta is b squared minus 4ac equals 0. So our b is going to be what? Negative 9 minus m, and then squared, minus 4, and then a is 1, and then c is 18 minus c, all right, equals to 0. All right, so you can see that I've got two unknowns, two equations, right? I've got two unknowns, two equations. So I need to simplify these equations, right? So to simplify these equations, then it means that this one here, the c there, I can make the subject also here, because m, I'll have a problem. It is going to be have a square, right? So if I make the c subject here and the c subject there, I can just equate the two things, right? I can just equate the two things. So let me just move the question down there, because I need us to see whatever I am doing here, right? I need you to see whatever we are doing there, all right? I need you to see everything we're doing there. So now I've got two equations there, and then two unknowns, right? Our unknown is m and c, right? Our unknown is m and c. So it means that for this one here, for the first equation here, let me name this equation 1, and then this one equation 2, right? So from equation 1, I can make c subject of the formula by taking everything to the right, right? This one here is what? I'm going to take it to the right, or let me expand it first, then take it to the right. So equation 1, I'm going to have 1 minus 2m, and then plus m squared, and then plus 4, and then plus or minus 4c, because this one and this one is going to be plus, so it's going to be minus 4c. Minus 4c equals to 0, right? Yes, there we are, right? So now I'm going to take 4c to the other side, so it's going to be m squared minus 2m, and then 1 and 4 is going to be plus 5 equals to 4c, right? And then I'll go to equation 2. From equation number 2, I'm going, because I see I've got 4c here and I've got 4c here, so I just want to make 4c the subject in both equations and equate everything, then solve for c later, right? Solve for m, then c later. So from equation 2, when I expand, this one is going to be what? It's going to be 81, and then plus, because it's negative and negative, 18m, and then it's going to be what? It's going to be plus m squared, and then 4, negative 4 by 18 is going to be what? I think this one, okay, 18 by 18 is what? Is 36, right? 36 by 2 is 72. So I'm going to have minus 72, minus 72. How I hate using the calculator. And then plus 4c equals to 0, right? So now I'm going to take everything to the right and leave 4c as it is. So it's going to be 4c equals to what? Equals to m squared, and then plus, minus, sorry, it's going to be negative when it goes to the other side. It's going to be minus m squared, right? And then minus 18m, minus 18m, and then what? Minus 18m, and then 81 and 72 is going to be what? It's going to be 9, right? 9, positive 9. It's going to be plus 9. Yes, there we are, right? So I've got 4c as subject in both equations, so it means that this one here is 4c and this one is 4c, and I know that 4c equals to 4c. You can solve it anyhow you understand your simultaneous. You can divide by 4 both sides and substitute your c. Is still perfect, right? It's still fine. But for me, I saw that I can make 4c both subjects, right? So you can solve it anyhow you know how to solve the simultaneous equation, right? So 4c is 4c, so it's going to be negative m. Okay, let me start with the one with positive. It's going to be m squared minus 2m plus 5 equals to negative m squared minus 18m plus 9. So this one is going to be what? It's going to be 2m squared, and then this one and that one is going to be what? It's going to be plus 16m, and then this one and this one is going to be minus 4 equals 0, right? Then I can divide both sides by 2, so it's going to be m squared minus 8m minus 2 equals 0. Okay, I've made a mistake. I see here this was negative 8, right? And then when it goes to that other side, this was positive. When it goes that other side, it was supposed to be negative, right? So it was supposed to be negative here. It was giving me a number that is too big there, right? It was giving me a number that's too small that I cannot factorize. That is when I realized, maybe I've made a mistake somewhere there, right? Because this one is minus, right? This one was supposed to be minus because this one and this one gives us positive. When it goes to the other side, it was supposed to be a minus, right? So it means that here is not correct, right? Here is not correct. So what is the answer? So it's going to be 14, right? The answer is going to be 14. 14 here is going to be positive 14. Positive 14 there. And then this one also is going to be positive 14. Or if I divide by 2, it's going to be positive 7 equals to 0, right? So here, if I am to solve for m, it's going to be what? It's going to be m squared minus, okay, it's going to be m minus 7 and m plus 1, right? And m minus 1 equals to 0. So m is negative 7 or m is 1, right? M is negative 7 or m is 1. So it means that the tangent is either going to be like this or like that, right? It's going to be positive 7 or positive 1. Why am I getting the positive? Does that tangent have a positive gradient there? This tangent have got a negative gradient here. Why am I getting a positive? Why am I getting a positive? Why am I getting a positive? Why am I having a negative here? This is my mistake again, right? That is my mistake again, right? So it means that here it was supposed to be a positive, right? And then it means that here it was going to be positive and positive. So it means that it was supposed to be negative and negative. Yes, the gradient of this tangent is negative and negative. So where is the 7? Because I need to make sure I write the right thing. So if this one continues and this one continues, maybe we can have another tangent that passes through here, right? Yes, maybe we can have another tangent that passes through there, but this one is a gentle slope, so this one is going to be negative 1, right? So I'm going to take the negative 1 for the common tangent there, right? So if I take the negative 1, it means that the equation is going to be what? The equation is going to be, or to find c, I can find c here or there, right? So it's m squared minus 2m plus 5. M squared minus 2m plus 5 minus 2m plus 5 equals to 4c, right? So because m is negative 1, it means that's going to be negative 1 here, but we should find both of them because they didn't tell us which one it is, right? So it's negative 1 and then minus 2 and then into negative 1 and then plus 5 equals to 4c. So this one is going to be 1 and then 3 and then it's going to be 8 equals to 4c. So we divide by 4, we divide by 4, and then our c is 2. So it means that the equation is y equals to m is negative x plus 2, right? Or if we use negative 7, it's going to be negative 7 squared minus 2 into negative 7 plus 5 equals to 4c. So this one's going to be 49. This one's going to be plus 14 plus 5 equals 4c. So if we add all these things, it's going to be what? This is going to be 50, 63, 68. It's going to be 68 over 4 equals to c, right? Because I'm going to divide by c, right? So it's going to be 68 over 4. So what is 68 over 4? So I think only 2 can go. 2 goes 34. 2 goes 34 here over 2 equals to c. So 2 still go, it goes 17 times, is equals to c. So the equation will be y equals to, the gradient is what? Negative 7x plus 17. So there is another equation, right? I'm sure I did correct thing. Yes, it's correct. So it's negative 7x plus 17 or y equals to negative x plus 2, right? So those are the two tangents that can be common to that equation, right? So let's go to the next question. So guys, if you haven't joined our online classes, make a good call, right? Make a good call. Make sure that you join our online classes and start understanding all this stuff, right? Once you join us, you will understand all this stuff, that they are not difficult. It's just that some things are not as usual, right? Okay, so given this one here, given that tan of theta is equals to negative 9 over 40, and they've given us that theta is between 180 and 370 and 360. So now we know that our diagram is going to be y. Our diagram is tan is negative here and there, but they said because it is from 0, 90, and then 180, and then 270, and back to 360, they're saying that is between 180 and 360. Between 180 and 360 is here, right? So it means that it's going to be on this quadrant here, right? It means that it's on this quadrant here. And then our coordinates, we know that tan is what? Tan is opposite, which is going to be y, right? It's y over x, right? Y over x. So it means that our y is what? Our y here is negative, right? Our x is positive. So it's going to be 40 is to negative 9, right? Because it's y over x, and then y is negative there and x is positive, right? So it means that we will need to find the distance here, right? We need to find the distance here. Are we clear? Yo, sorry, I think I'm in class. I'm starting to think that I'm in class. I'm still okay, I'm thinking that we are in class. So let me answer this one. So it means that we'll need our r here. I'm sorry for that. It was that message. I thought maybe someone who needed assistance, right? Okay, I'll check on it. Okay, so we've got this one here. So now we need the gradient, right? Now we need the r. We need to find the r there, right? So remember our theta is here, don't forget that, right? So now when we want to find our r, they're saying, well, write down without the value of without the calculator the value of sine theta. Sine of theta will need r, right? So we need know r squared equals to x squared plus y squared. That is our Pythagoras, right? So r squared will be 40 squared plus into negative 9 squared. So what's going to be the answer? The answer, this one is 1600, and then that one is 81, right? So that is our r squared. So our r is going to be what? Our r, if I make square root both sides, is going to be square root of 1681, and then plus or minus, but because it's r, there's no need for plus or minus. R is always positive, right? R is always positive. So it's going to be what? It's going to be let me check. It's going to be what? It's going to be square root of 1681. So it's going to be 41, right? So our r is going to be 41. So this is our 41, right? I've got our r, I've got our x, right? So if they ask me for sine of theta, I know that sine of theta is equals to y over r. So it's going to be 41 over, sorry, y is not 41, y is negative 9, right? Y is negative 9. So it's going to be negative 9 over 41, right? So there is our answer, right? There is our answer. And then we go to the second question. This is number 1 there. This is 8.1.1. This is 8.1.1. So 8.1.2 is saying what? One's cos squared of theta. So what is cos squared of theta? Cos squared of theta, we know that cos squared of theta is the same as cos of theta squared, right? So what is cos of theta? Cos of theta is going to be x over r, right? So x over r is going to be what? It's going to be 40 over 41, because our x is 40 and our r is 41 squared there. So the answer is going to be what? The answer is going to be 40 over 41 squared. 40 over 41 squared. 40 over 41, and then if I square them, what do I get? I get 1600 over 1681. 1600 over 1681. So there we are, right? That is our answer, right? That is our answer. And then we go to 8.1.3. 8.1.3, what are they looking for? They are looking for cos of negative angle. So cos of negative theta, if I use reduction, I know that this one is cos of theta, right? Cos of negative angle is equals to the cos of positive angle, right? So cos of theta, I know that is 40 over 41, right? 40 over 41, right, is x over r, right? So there we are. And then we go to 8.1.4. 8.1.4, they've given us the cos of 2 theta. So cos of 2 theta, I'm going to expand it either to make it a sine or a cos, right? So if I'm expanding it to make it a sine, it's going to be 1 minus 2 sine squared of theta. So it means that's going to be 1 minus 2 into sine of theta is what? Is negative 9 over 41 and then squared there, right? So it means that's going to be what? I can punch this into the calculator once and for all, right? 1 minus 2 into negative 9 over 41, right? And then into the brackets and then squared. So this one give us 1519. It is giving us 1519 over 1681. 1681, right? So that is our answer, right? So you could have also expanded it to be 2 cos square of theta minus 1. You could have expanded it to be like that. So it was going to be 2 into 40 over 41 squared and then minus 1, right? So if you punch the calculator onto this one, it should give you the same answer, right? So it's 2 into 40 over 41 squared minus 1. So it's still the same, 1519 over 1681, right? And also you could have expanded it to be cos squared theta minus sine squared theta, right? It was going to give you the same answer, right? So let's quickly go to the next question. The next one is going to be what? The next one is going to be half angle, right? Sine of theta over 2. So when we talk about half angle, guys, I told you every time you see a half angle, you must think of a double angle of a sine, of a cos, right? So you're going to talk about the double angle of a cos. So it's going to be cos of theta, cos of what? What do I do? Okay, it's cos of theta equals to, okay, cos of what? Let me say this one here is double angle of cos, right? So it's going to be cos of theta over 2, or 2 multiplied by theta over 2 is equals to what? Is equals to cos. Okay, I can talk about this one. I need to talk about sine, right? So it's going to be 1 minus sine of theta over, what am I supposed to do? Okay, so this one here, I should make it a half, right? I should make it half. Oh, I forgot this one here. So this one here, okay, let me remember it using the angle, right? So if I've got sine of 10, and then I know that I've got maybe I had 20 degrees, right? So it's going to be sine of 2 multiplied by 10, right? Equals to sine, or it's going to be 1 minus sine squared of 10, right? Yes. And then yes, 2 sine squared of x, so it has to be like that, right? So this is correct. This is equals to okay, this is equals to, yes, this is equals to what? This is equals to 1 minus 2 sine of theta over 2. Yes, that is correct, right? That is how I have to think about this one, right? So you see what I have on the left hand side there is the same as what I have on the right hand side there. I just expanded my double angle there, right? I just expanded my double angle there. So after expanding my double angle there, it means that this one here, I know that is what? I know that this one here, if I multiply it again, is going to be cos of theta, right? Cos of theta is 1 minus 2 sine squared 2 sine squared of theta over 2. So now I just need to make sine of theta over 2 the subject of the formula, because I know cos of theta is 40 over 41, right? Is 40 over 41, right? Equals to 1 minus 2 sine squared of theta over 2, right? So now I will make 2 sine squared of theta over 2 the subject. So it's going to be 2 sine squared of theta over 2, and then equals to 1 minus 40 over 41, right? So it means that it's going to be what? It's going to be 2. It's going to be, I'm going to divide both sides by 2, right? So it's going to be divided by 2 divided by 2. So this one is going to be what? The numerator is 1 over 41 and then over 2. So it's going to be 1 over 82. Okay, so it's going to be sine squared of theta equals to 1 over 82. All right, and then it means that the answer now is going to be, I'm just going to make a square root there, right? So when I make the square root, don't forget to write your plus or minus there. So it means that sine of theta over 2 is not theta, is theta over 2. Is sine of theta over 2, right? Sine of theta over 2, sine of theta over 2, and then sine of theta over 2 is going to be plus or minus the square root of 1, which is 1, right? Which is 1 over square root of 82, right? So if I multiply both sides by square root of 82, it's going to be square root of 82 over 82, right? If I rationalize the denominator, so that is the sine of theta over 2, right? So theta over 2 falls on which quadrant? If I made a half of this, it's going to fall underneath somewhere here, right? So it might be a negative or a positive, so it must keep being a positive or negative. We don't know really where it is gonna fall, right? So that is our answer there, right? That is our answer there. So this one was a bit challenging, but not really, right? It was a bit challenging, but not really, right? That is a half angle. Whenever you think of a half angle, you should think of a double angle, of course. So here was what we did. We talked about the double angle, of course, and then we expanded it on the right hand side, and then after it, when we simplify, we just multiply these two and it became a theta, and now we've got cos of theta. We substitute it, and then now we've got sine squared of theta with everything, with sine of theta over 2 with everything just needed to be made subject of the formula. All right, so we made it subject of the formula. We got that. Okay, let's go to 8.2. So 8.2, what are they looking for? They want us to simplify that expression, right? So it's going to be sine of 90 minus theta is on the first quadrant. So 90, I know that is cofunction. So this one's going to be cos of theta. All right. Okay, let me use a blue pen instead of a red, right? Let me use a blue instead of a red. So this one's going to be what? This one's going to be sine or cos of theta. So it's 8.2. It's going to be sine of cos of theta. 8.2 is going to be cos of theta, and then multiply by tan of 360 minus is on the fourth quadrant. Tan on the fourth quadrant is negative, so it's going to be negative tan of theta, and then theta minus 180. So this one I'm going to rearrange. It's going to be negative 180 minus theta, right? Negative 180 minus theta, right? So when I take out the sign, it's going to be negative. So it's going to be negative, and then negative sine of 180 minus second quadrant. So it means that this one will end up being negative, right? It's going to be negative sine of theta, right? And then all over 1 minus cos squared is going to be sine squared. That is a cofunction, right? So sine squared of theta, that's not a cofunction, sorry. That is a square identity, right? That is a square identity. So it means that here I'm going to have what? Here the sine is going to cancel one sine with this one here, and then I'll have cos of theta and negative, this negative and this negative will give me a positive, right? So it means that I'm going to have cos of theta, and then tan is going to be sine of theta over cos of theta, right? And then all over sine of theta, right? So this cos and this cos will cancel, and then I will have sine of theta over sine of theta, so it will cancel. So the final answer here is going to be 1, all right? So there it is, right? This one was a bit straightforward. Let's go to 8.3. 8.3.1. 8.3.1, they are saying cos of 212. So cos of 212, they've given us that 32 is P, right? So this one, it needs a triangle, right? It needs a triangle. So before I answer it, I should be able to understand everything, right? So there is my 90, and then this is the same as P over 1. And then I know that cos is cos is adjacent over hypotenuse, right? So if my 32 is here, it means that my adjacent is going to be P and my hypotenuse is going to be 1, all right? And then using the cofunction, this one is going to be 90 minus 32, so it's going to be 58 degrees, right? So there we are, right? There we are. And then now we need this side. How are we going to find that side? That side, we know that 1 squared is equals to P squared, and that one I'm just going to call it Y. So 1 minus P squared is our Y squared. So I'm making a square root both sides, so my Y is going to be 1 minus P squared, the square root of 1 minus P squared. So here is the square root of 1 minus P squared. So there we are, right? There we are. That is 8.3.1. So let's go to 8.3.2. Let's go to 8.3. Oh, let's go to answer 8.1. So they're saying cos of 212. So 8.3.1. All right. So this diagram here and all the workings should be seen in the answer book, right? It is very important, right? So 8.3.1 is cos of 212. So cos of 212 is the third quadrant, which is 180 degrees plus 32, right? Plus 32 degrees. So cos on the second function quadrant is going to be negative cos of 32 degrees, right? And then I know that cos of 32 is P. So this one is going to be negative P. All right. And then 8.3.2. 8.3.2, they want sine of 328. So sine of negative angle is negative sine, right? So it's going to be negative sine of 328, right? And then 328 is on the fourth quadrant, right? It's on the fourth quadrant. So on the fourth quadrant, it's going to be negative sine of 360 degrees minus 32 degrees. So, and then 360 minus fourth quadrant is negative, and negative is going to be positive. So this one is going to be sine of 32 degrees. So sine of 32 degrees is going to be opposite over hypotenuse. So it's going to be the square root of 1 minus P squared over 1. So it's just going to be like that, right? So 8.3.3, they are saying cos of 62. Cos of 62 degrees, right? Cos of 62 degrees. So this one is going to be what? This one is going to be cos of 62. So 62, how can I cannot have 62 here, but 62, I can relate it with 32 with the 30, right? So it's going to be the, what do you call this? It's going to be a compound angle, right? So this one is going to be the same as cos of 32 degrees plus 30 degrees, right? So cos of double angle is going to be what? It's going to be cos minus sine, right? So it's going to be cos of 32 degrees, and then cos of 30 degrees minus sine of 32 degrees, sine of 30 degrees, right? That is our compound angle, right? So this one is a special angle, but the 32, I know it from the diagram, right? So 32 is going to be cos of 32. I know that cos of 32 is P, right? So it's going to be P, and then cos of 30 cos of 30 is a special angle, is root 3 over 2, right? Multiply by, so it's going to be plus sine of 32. Sine of 32 is going to be what? It's going to be square root of 1 minus p squared. And then that other one, sine of 30, is 1 over 2, right? So it means that this one is going to be p root 3 over 2 plus, oh sorry, it's a minus, right? Where am I getting a plus? It's a minus here. It's a minus here. It's a minus there. It's a minus here. It's going to be minus. On top is going to be root 1 minus p squared. And then over 2. So if I am adding the two things, it's going to be p root 3 minus root 1 plus p squared, minus p squared, sorry, minus p squared over 2, right? So that is our final answer. And then we'll go to 8.3.4. 8.3.4. 8.3.4. I've got tan of 16. Tan of 16 degrees. So tan of 16 degrees, remember tan of 16 degrees is going to be what? It's going to be the same as sine of 16 over cos of 16, right? Because I know that 16 is not there, but 16 is half of 32. So this is a half angle, right? So this one's going to be sine of 16 over cos of 16, right? So this one here is not going to be easy to work it on this as they are. I'm going to work sine of 16 separately with cos of 16 separately and bring them in there, right? So this one have got how many marks? They've got 7 marks because of that, right? So it's going to be 8.3.4. So I'm going to have sine of 2 multiplied by 16 degrees equals to, because I need to solve for this one here, I will use a sine. So it's going to be 1 minus 2 sine squared of 16, right? So that is the double angle. And then if I multiply these two, it's going to be sine of 32 degrees equals to 1 minus 2 sine squared of 16 degrees, right? So what is sine of 32 degrees? Sine of 32 degrees is root 1 minus p squared, because it's the opposite over hypotenuse. So it's opposite over hypotenuse. So that is sine of 16. So it's going to be root 1 minus p squared equals to 1 minus 2 sine squared of 16, right? So it means that I'm going to take this one to the left and this one to the right, so that I don't have a negative on my thing that I want to solve, right? It's going to be 2 sine squared of 16 degrees equals to 1 minus root of 1 minus p squared, right? Then I can divide by 2, right? So it's going to be sine squared of 16 degrees equals to 1 minus root of 1 minus p squared over 2, right? Then I can make a square root here. So that is my solution, right? It's going to be sine squared of 16 degrees equals to 1 minus root of 1 minus p squared over 2, and then the square root thing. So that is our answer, right? So remember, I've made the square root to get rid of the squared. I made a mistake to write it there, right? And then, so now I've got sine of 16, so I've got this one. Now I need cos of 16, right? So to solve cos of 16 again, I'm going to use the same method again, right? I'm going to apply the same method again. It's going to be cos of 2 multiplied by 16 degrees equals to 2 cos squared of 16 degrees minus 1, right? So after that, what do? I need to make this cos the subject of the formula. So I'll take 1 to the other side. It's going to be this one's going to be cos of 32 degrees minus 1 equals to 2 and what? 2 cos square of 16 degrees, right? So I'll divide both sides by 2, divide by 2, and I know that cos of 32 is p. So I've got p minus 1 over 2 equals to cos squared of 16 degrees, right? Then I will make the square root both sides. So it means that our cos of 16 degrees is going to be p minus 1 over 2, square root of p minus 1 over 2, right? Therefore, I know that tan of 16 is what? Is sine of 16 degrees over cos of 16 degrees. So I know the sine of 16. What is the sine of 16? Is square root of 1 minus square root of 1 minus. Okay, so I've made the small square root there. So it's going to be 1 minus square root of p squared minus 1, right? And then over 2, right? And then this is the square root here, and then over the denominator, which is going to be p minus 1 over 2, the square root there, right? So square root of square root is the same as square root of a square root is the same as 1 square root, right? And then it means that this is going to be the square root, the bigger square root here, and then on that bigger square root I'm going to have this one here divided by this one. So when I change it to be multiplication, it's going to be 2 over, right? It's going to be 1 minus root of p squared minus 1 over 2 multiplied by 2 over p minus 1, right? So there we are. So these 2 and these 2 will cancel. Then I will be left with square root of 1 minus root of p squared minus 1 all over p minus 1. So there we are. That is our solution, right? That is our solution. There is no further we can go, right? So that is why it had 7 marks there. It looked small. It was big, right? It was big. So I'm sure we all understand what we have done there. So let's go to 8.4. 8.4, they are saying given sine x is equals to, given sine x equals to cos of 2x minus 1, right? So they want us to show that this is equals to, show that sine square theta plus sine theta equals to 0. So it means that I've got sine theta, yes, and then this other one here is what? This other one here is the compound angle of cos, right? The double angle of cos. So it means that if I am to simplify there, I need this one to have a 2 sine squared, right? I need it to have 2 sine squared. So it's going to be sine of x. So this is 8.4.1. So it's going to be sine x equals to, this one is going to be 1 minus 2 cos square of x minus 1. So 1 and 1 will go home, and then this one will go to the left. So sine here, I've made a mistake on the double angle, is 2 sine squared of x, right? 2 sine squared of x minus 1. So 1 and 1 will go home, and then we're going to have 2 sine square x plus sine x equals to 0. So we are done with this one. We can go to the next question, which is going to be 8.4.2. So 8.4.2, they are saying determine the general solution. Let's determine the general solution of this one. So we already simplified it here, so there's no need for us to start there. We can just start here because this one and this one is the same thing, right? So it means that I'm going to have, this one is a double angle, so I'm going, okay, it's not a double angle, so I'm just going to factor out sine x there. So I'm going to factor out sine x, and then inside I will be left with sine x, 2 sine x plus 1 equals to 0, right? So it means that I've got sine x equals to 0, or sine x equals to negative 1 over 2, right? So I need to determine the general solution of all of these, right? So the first one was 0. I prefer you to do this, follow the main steps of finding the general solution. Whether it's 1 or whether it's 0, it's going to help you, right? It's going to assist you not to cram a lot of different things, right? Okay, so for this one, I know that's going to be the ref angle. For the first one, it's going to be what? The ref angle is going to be sine second function of 0, which is going to be what? Which is going to be sine over, so let's it's going to be what? Let me just do them for another. Okay, so this one is going to be what? This one, let me use a calculator. I'm forgetting the special angle, right? I'm forgetting the special angle. So let me quickly use the calculator. It's going to be sine second function of 0, right? Sine second function of 0, I think is 0 or 1, right? Shift sine second function of 0 going to be 0, right? It's 0, so this one's going to be 0, right? And then we take it to our appropriate quadrants, right? We take it to our appropriate quadrants. So it was positive 0, we can take it as positive, right? So it's going to be what? It's going to be x is equals to 0 plus 360 degrees dot k, and then k is z, which means that x is equals to 360 degrees dot k, and then k is z, right? And then the second quadrant is 180 minus, so x is going to be 180 degrees minus 0 degrees plus 360 degrees dot k, and then k is z, right? Dot k, and then k is z, right? And then which means that x is also equals to 180 degrees plus 360 degrees dot k, and then k is z, right? So there we are, right? There we are with the 0. So now let's go to 1 over 2. We know that sine x is equals to 1 over 2, negative 1 over 2. So I'm going to find the ref angle. So to find the ref angle, it's going to be sine second function. On the ref angle, remember we use a positive, right? So it's going to be 30 degrees, right? And then we take it to where sine is negative. Sine is negative on the third and fourth quadrant. So on the third quadrant, it's going to be x equals to 180 degrees minus, it's a plus 30 degrees plus 360 degrees dot k, and then k is z. So it means that this one is going to be 210 degrees plus 360 degrees dot k, and then k is z. And then it means that the other one is the fourth quadrant. On the fourth quadrant is going to be x equals to 360 degrees minus our ref angle, which is 30 degrees plus 360 degrees dot k, and then k is z. So it means that x is going to be what? It's going to be 330 degrees plus 360 degrees dot k, and then k is z. So those are our two general solutions. For general solutions, we are done with this one, right? We are done with the general solution question. And then now let's quickly go to the last question. Oh, it's not last. I think I still have 2 questions that remains, right? So I think I still have 2 questions that remains. We've got this one of what? We've got this one here. Yes, these are the 2 questions that remains, right? The other one is trig functions, right? Is trig function. So with the trig function, let's look at question 9. 9.1. 9.1, they are saying calculate the points of intersection of f and g, right? So it means that we have f of x equals to g of x, right? That is the points of intersection. Two graphs must be equal, right? So what is f of x? Is 1 plus sine x equals to cos of 2x. So let's see what we can do here. So here I've got only sine, but here I've got cos. So I will change that other one to be sine and cos, right? That is very important, right? I will change that one to be sine and cos, right? I'll change that one to be sine and cos. So this one is, oh sorry, I can change it. I can't change it to be cos here because I only have sine. I will change it to be sine, this one, right? So it's going to be 1 minus 1 plus sine x equals to 1 minus 2 sine squared x. It looks like it's more the same. It's more like the same as the previous question there. Let me check the previous question. I think it's the same, right? It's the same. Yes, the same thing, right? It's the same thing. So I'm just gonna find the answers. I'm not gonna find the general solution just because it's the same, right? And then which means that this one here is going to be what? It's going to be 1 and 1 will cancel, and then I'll have 2 sine squared of x plus sine x equals 0, right? So those ones are the same. I'm so sorry about that, right? Okay, so this one I'm just gonna factor out sine x, and then I'll have 2 sine x plus 1 equals to 0. So sine x is 0, or sine x is what? Sine x is negative 1 over 2, right? So we already know the general solutions. The general solution, I've got x equals to 360 dot k, right? I've got x equals to 360 degrees dot k, and then k is z. The other one is x equals to 180 degrees dot k plus 360 degrees dot k, and then k is z. And then the other one is what? The other ones are 210 plus 360, right? X equals to 210 degrees plus 360 degrees dot k, and then k is z. And then the other one is x equals to what? Equals to 330 degrees plus 360 degrees dot k, and then k is z. So those are the general solutions that we have, right? And then since here they've given us the domain, they've given us the domain that our x is an element of 180 to 360. So our x cannot be bigger than 360 or 180, right? It cannot be less than 180 and it cannot be bigger than 360, but 180 and 360 are included, right? So from the general solution here, if I put a 1 here, I've got a 360, right? So it's going to be x equals to 360. But if I put anything else, I don't get anything which is within 180 and 360, right? And then this one here, if I put a 1 here, it's going to be much big. Negative is going to be much less. And then, but if I put a 0, it's going to be 180. So x is equals to 180 degrees, right? And then in this one here also, if I put a 1 there, it's going to be much bigger. If I put a negative, it's going to be much less. But 220, if I put a 0, 220 is going to be within. 210 degrees is going to be within. And then the other one here is going to be 330 only, also 330 degrees, right? So those are our values of x of point of intersection, right? These are the points of intersection, right? Those are the points of intersection. So they ask us to draw the graph. So our graph, they asked us to start at 180, right? They asked us to start at 180, right? So this one is going to be what? This one is going to be a sine graph, sine of 180. So it's going to be sine of 180 is what? Sine of 180 is going to be 0, right? Sine of 180 is going to be 0. So 0 plus 1 is going to go to 1, right? So there is our y, and then here is our x, right? Here is our x, there is our y, right? So it is starting at 180. I'll just put it on the right here. So my 180, I'll just put it here to show that this is 180. And then here, do I have a 2? Yes, I have a 2. So I'm going to use the scale of 2, right? I'm going to, 45, right? So from 90, I'm going to 225, right? I'm going to 225, and then after that I'll go to 270. After that I'm going to 315, and then after that I'm going to my 360 degrees, right? So after that, now let's plot our graph. So they are saying draw the graph of f and g from this one and that one. Okay, so 180 is with what? For the sine graph, 180 is going to be if I put a 180 here, it's going to be 1 plus 0, so it's going to go to 1, right? It's going to start at 1 here, at 1, right? And then when I go to 225, so sine of 225 is what? So let me use a calculator. Sine of 225, sine of 225 is going to be sine of 225 isn't, it's a special angle, but it's root 2 over 2, so it's going to be 0.75. So let me go to straight to 270, right? For sine, I'm going to 270 because I know that it's going to be at negative 1, right? It's going to be at negative 1, so negative 1 plus 1 is going to be 0, right? So there we are. So I will know that it's going to go there to 360 again, right? 360 and 1 again. So my graph will be like this, right? My graph will be like this. This is my graph, right? That is my graph. That is my graph. My graph will be somewhere like this. Okay, it's still not working properly. That is not a graph, right? So the sine graph, sorry, let me just make this thing not to slide, right? Not to rotate. So if I do it like this, I think I will be able to get the correct graph. There is the correct graph, right? There is the correct graph. and then here it's going to go like this also. It's going to go like this also. So there we are, right? There we are, right? And then but this one here, I think I've made a mistake. I see my mistake, right? My mistake is that I'm not using a ruler to properly guide my graph, right? I'm not using a ruler to properly guide my graph, because this one here, where is my ruler? I can't find the ruler here. What's going on? Okay, I can't find the ruler. Okay, so this one was supposed to be somewhere here. Okay, I can't find the ruler, but it's fine. Okay, so this one was supposed to go through there, and then it's a curve, right? It's a curve. So there we are, right? And then this one here is supposed to go here like a curve, right? It's a curve. So there we are, right? So there we are. So the graph is touching here, right? And then it is ending at 360. And then that other one, they said is 2 cos of 2x. So cos of 360, cos of 2 multiplied by 360 is going to be what? It's going to be cos of 2 multiplied by 180. It's going to be it's going to be 1, right? So this one also will start at 1, right? This one also will start at 1, and then after that we go to 225. Let's go to 225. 225 is going to be at 0, so it's going to come here also. And then sorry, that's not 225. 225 is here, right? So it's gonna come here, and then at 270, where is it gonna go? 270 is going to go where? At 270 it goes to -1, right? It goes to -1. So -1, I will put it here. And then 315 is going to be 0, so it's back to 0. And then that other one is going to be 360. 360 is going to 1, right? It's going to 1. Sorry. So it means that this graph here, I'll use a green for this one here. So this one here, it's curving like this here. Okay, so let me show you a curve, how it is curving here. It's curving like this here. That is how it is curving there, right? And then that is how it is curving here also. Here it's going to curve like this, right? It's going to curve like this, right? Because it's going to the maximum point. And then on the other points, it's going to curve like this. Sorry, this other one is going to curve like this. Right, remember, this is how it curves, right? So this one also is going to curve like this. Sorry, this one is going to curve like this, right? It's going to curve like this. So there is our graphs, right? There are our graphs. There are our graphs. So the one, this one is for, the green one is for G, right? And then the blue one is for F, all right? So there we are. And then they are saying what? They are saying provided on the system of x's. Okay, so they're saying for which values of x. So let's talk about the points of intersection. We agreed that this is 180, and then this one is going to be what? This is 210, right? This is our 210 degrees, and then the other one is 330. 330 is this one. This is our 330. This is our 330 degrees, right? And then this one here is the 360 that we started with there, our 360 degrees, right? So they are our points of intersections, right? There are our points of intersections that we already found, right? So when they ask us for which values of x is f of x less than g of x, so we want where f of x is below g of x, right? We want where f of x is below g of x. So f of x is below g of x from this portion and from that portion only, right? So the first portion is from 180 to 210, right? The first portion is from 180 to 210. That is our 9.3. 9.3 is between 180 and 210. So it's 180 degrees and then x and then 210 degrees. So there we are, right? And then did they say or equal? Yes, they say or equal. So they're equal at this one and equal at that one also. And then also at the 380 to 360, right? So it's going to be 330 degrees less or equals to x, which is less or equals to 360 degrees. That is where our f is below g, right? That is where our f is below g, right? So there we are done with this question. Okay, let's go to question 10 now. Let's go to question 10. Question 10, they are saying that a right angle triangle PQR is drawn on a piece of cardboard. Okay, this is our PQR. A line is drawn from the vertex Q perpendicular to PR. So it's perpendicular to PR, so it's perpendicular here. So it means that there is our 90. Right here we've got our 90. And then they're saying the length of PQ is 8 centimeter. There is PQ 8 centimeter and QR is 6 centimeter also. And then they are saying let angle SQR be theta. So this is our SQR, this is our theta. And then now they are saying the triangle is then folded along SQ, is folded along this line, and then when it gets folded, this point comes here, right? And then that is what we have now, right? And then they are saying angle PSR is 70. PSR, sorry, is 70. There is our 70 degrees, right? There is our PSR image, which is 70, and then where R is image is the new position of R. Okay, and then the three-dimensional figure formed is a triangular pyramid. Okay, so now they are saying calculate the size of theta. There is our theta. So I cannot directly find theta there because I have only one side on the triangle, right, that has theta. So I can find this angle here. After finding this one here, I can find my theta because it's a cofunction because I've got a 90 here, right? So 10.1, I'm going to use what? I'm going to, they say rounded off to 2 decimal place. Okay, so 10.1 is going to be what? It's going to be sine of theta because, okay, I want this angle there, R. So it's going to be tan of R, right? Tan of R. Angle R is going to be opposite over adjacent. So it's going to be 8 over 6, right? So angle R is going to be tan second function of 8 over 3, right? So what is tan second function of 8 over 3? Tan second function of 8 over 3 is going to be what? Let me quickly go to my calculator. It's going to be what? It's going to be 4 over 3. So it's 8 over 6, which is 4 over 3, right? It's 8 over 6, which is 4 over 3. So it's 53,13. So R is 53,13. 53,13 degrees, right? So after finding that R there, it means that we can find our theta, right? Because angle R plus theta should be 90 degrees. They are cofunction. There are two angles on the right angle triangle, right? So theta is going to be 90 degrees minus 53,13 degrees. It's going to be what? It's going to be 36,87 degrees, right? So it's going to be 36,87 degrees. That is our theta, right? That is our theta. And then if we go to the second triangle there, we can find, okay, we need to find this length there. Okay, so let's go to the next question. In fact, they're saying calculate the length of PR. PR is this one, P image R is this one here. I've got this one here, so I need this length here, right? So how am I going to find that length? Do I have the angle here? I don't, right? I don't. So it means that to find that one there, I can find the length of this one here and find the length of this one there and subtract it to PS, right? That's what I'm going to do, right? That's what I'm going to do. So I'll write it here. It's 10.2. 10.2, I'm going to find the PR, right? So it's the right angle triangle. It's going to be PR squared equals to 6 squared plus 8 squared, right? So the answer is going to be what? The answer is going to be the square root of this one's going to be 36 plus 64, right? So it's going to be square root of 100, which is going to be 10. So our PR is going to be 10. PR is going to be 10, right? So once I know that PR is 10, I can easily find my SR, right? I can easily find my SR. So I know that SR is this one here. It's the same as this SR because it's this folded part, right? So to find my SR, so that is what I needed, right? I didn't even need to go here. I didn't even need to go here. I was supposed to find my SR straight away, right? I could have found my SR straight away. Okay, let me check Let me check. Okay, I will need this one also. Yes, I will need it. I will need it also. Okay, because I will need this side. I need this side here, but I can't find it directly. I found this one, this length here. So this length is 10, right? So if I find this one here, it's going to be this one, and then I can subtract to 10 to get this side here, which is PS, right? So it means that to find SR there, I've got my theta here. So it's going to be what? Opposite, right? So it's going to be, and then I've got opposite and what? Opposite and hypotenuse, right? So it's going to be sine of theta equals to the opposite, which is SR, right? Which is SR over the hypotenuse, which is RQ, which is RQ. So it's going to be sine of what? Sine of 36,87, right? 36,87 degrees equals to what? Equals to opposite, which is SR. So opposite, which is SR, over RQ. RQ, which is our hypotenuse, which is 6, right? So it's going to be SR is going to be 6 sine of 36,87 degrees. So what is the answer? Let me check into the answer, into the calculator, right? So it's 6 sine of 36, what, 87, so it's 3,6, right? So the answer here is 3,6. So that is our SR, right? Our SR is 3,6, right? So now let's look at what we have here. I've got my SR here, which is 3,6. So here is 3,6. So it means that here is 3,6, right? And then since here it was 10 and 3,6 is also this one, it means that this one here I can just subtract to 10, right? I can subtract from 10 and find my SP, right? And find my SP. So SP is going to be what? SP is going to be PR, is going to be PR minus SR, right? So it's going to be 10 minus 3,6. So it's going to be 6,4. So there we are. SP is 6,4. So I've got 6,4 here. 6,4 is this one here. And this one is 3,6 there. Right? So it means that since we've got this angle here, since we've got the angle there in between there, since I've got this angle here, since I've got this angle here, which they will give me, that is 70, and I need the opposite. So this one is our cos rule, right? It's going to be our cos rule. So PR image squared equals to these other two sides. So it's going to be PS squared plus the other one, which is what? Which is SR image squared. SR image squared, right? So I'm going to put everything, it's minus 2, and then PS multiplied by SR, and then cos of the angle there, which is what? Which is angle PSR, right? So there we are, right? PSR, I know that is 70, right? So PR is going to be the square root of what? What is PS? PS or SP is 6,4 squared plus 3,6 squared minus 2 multiplied by 6,4 times 3,6 times cos of 70 degrees. They said it's 70 degrees, right? They said is 70 degrees. Yes. So there we are, right? So that is our PR, right? That is our PR squared, and then the square root there. So square root will get rid of the squared. So let's quickly do this into the calculator. So it's going to be what? It's going to be this big square root of what? 6,4 squared plus 3,6 squared minus 2 multiplied by 6,4 multiplied by 3,6 cos of what? Cos of 70 degrees. Cos of 70 degrees. So the answer is going to be 6,17. 6,17. 177. So 6,18. Was it in centimeter or what? It was in centimeter. 6,18 centimeters. So there we are. So if there's something that you didn't understand on our corrections, make sure that you join our class. It means that you are on a danger side of things, right? It means that you are on the dangerous side of things, right? Make sure that you join our online classes. They are always available. If you are in grade 12, then the classes starts at 8 every day to 9 p.m, right? 8 p.m to 9 p.m. And then if you are upgrading, our classes starts at 8 a.m to 9 a.m mathematics, and then from 9 a.m to 10 a.m is physical science, Monday to Friday. And then the ones who are in grade 12, we do Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We don't attend on Friday and Saturday. So you can join our classes. The prices are as follows. If you are in grade 12 now, you pay 450. You attend 5 times a week, but you attend only one subject per day, right? So sometimes the other weeks is going to be 3 physical science, the other weeks are going to be 3 mathematics, and then when the other is 3, obviously the other is going to be 2, because we've got 5 sessions per week for the ones in grade 12. So the payments is 450 per month if you are doing both maths and physical science, but if you are doing one, it's going to be 300, right? And then if you are upgrading, we attend Monday to Friday, both subjects every day, so you pay 700 if you're taking both subjects, and only if you're taking only one subject is 500, right? So that's it for today. I've came with the correction. This question paper, I've built it from the scratch for my learners, and then I'm just giving you as a I'm just giving it to the public so that you can see how we're doing things here. We are really working, right? We are working very hard, day in, day out, right? Trying to succeed with our metric, right? So make sure that you join our classes. Yes, I do offer classes also from grade 9, right? From grade 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 that we just talked about, right? So the prices for grade 8, 9, for grade 10 and 11 is the same as the grade 12 in class, right? It's 452 subject, 301 subject, because the amount of classes is the same, right? 5 lessons per week, right? So you can make a call. My number is 079 1444 266. You can text me or however, and then get in contact with me, then I will assist you, right? So for now, let's call it a day.